You're welcome, by the way.
Welcome back, supporter of the cause. Oi Abi Wazi Git. AM still sub-tiers. Trans rights are human rights, hate is lame.
Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, my name is Abby Beck. Welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? What's going on? What's happening? What are the happenings? There you go, Fox. And, I can't do too much of that tonight because your girl's got, like a little, what's it called? I've pulled my trapezius somehow, and I've got a little patch on there that sort of acts as though I've put a heat rub on it. I'm pretty sure the patch at this point is out of, effectiveness, so there's no point in me leaving it on there, but I'm gonna leave it on there regardless. Thank you for giving a heck. How was my day? My day was okay. My day was alright. You got your first COVID shot, Weirdbeards. Congratulations. Fucking awesome. Fucking poggers. I don't have a soundbite. Dude. There you go. You can make a bad joke about that specific muscle if you like. I am your transgender sword lesbian queen, here to tell you the news and give my opinions on it in a functionally leftist perspective. I just want to look something up because this has been on my mind and I should know this. But I've forgotten what functionalism is philosophically, so I'm just going to look that up really quickly. The trap pulled her trap. You get one slow clap. There you go. I don't know how I did it. I was playing with my hair last night, and then all of a sudden, like, we'll regale my weekend to you. Me and my family went out. They went and saw the stage performance of Frozen. Ew, I'm not going to be a part of that shit. But I went along anyway, and I wandered around the city while they were busy doing that. And then we had, dinner. My kids had a little thing at the hotel that was part of our booking where they got to make pizzas. My kids got to make pizzas with the pizza chefs. They had a good time doing that. We'll have to do that again at home at some point. Then we went out to the aquarium the next day. Had a good time there. And I think just overall, spending the weekend in the city, going on little adventures, and spending a lot of time doing stuff. I think it's entirely possible, especially being at the aquarium for some reason. I felt completely and totally de-energized. I don't know what it was, but throughout the adventure, I felt completely and entirely drained to the point where I was actually losing equilibrium. I don't know what the situation was there. Eventually, after eating, I felt okay again, but while I was there, I was like, holy shit, dude, I can't stand up straight. At any rate, I think at some point, maybe it was the sleeping in the hotel bed, which was difficult. I couldn't get to sleep. Different pillow and all that. And I think at some point, I don't know what I might have done. I've just hurt my trapezius. And then yesterday, after we got back, Sunday night, I was playing around with my hair and then all of a sudden, why the fuck does that hurt so fucking much? Can't tell you. I don't know what I fucking did, but I think a part of it is just like a combination of being out and then, I don't know. I think I've just worn my body out to the point where I just somehow managed to pull a muscle. And I've had it happen before where I've pulled either one of these numerous times and I never know why or how. Very rarely is it actually to do with fitness. I've pulled my lower back on several occasions with deadlift, but so it was a joke, so you're not like, oh my god, but just like outside that, from someone someone who knows better. Trap is generally considered a bad term, yes. It is considered a slur, because The reasoning behind it being called a slur is the notion that, say, for example, a transgender woman might be straight, might be attracted to men, might find a man she's interested in, they go back to a hotel room and he finds out she's got a penis. Thus, the notion is that she was trapping him, trying to get him into bed, and then realize, oh, you weren't born with a vagina. That's the issue with it. To sum up the whole trap discussion, that's what it boils down to, and the usage of the phrase has been used to justify transphobic hate crime, the trans panic events. Hi, Mad Max, how you doing? How you been? Millie, Kate, I'm doing okay. How are you doing? But yeah, Draco, I understand where you're coming from. I know it's not it's okay with me because I'm a bit more open about this stuff. And then he murders her. Yeah, that's. We are going to talk about the trans panic defense, I think, a little bit. Well, we'll discuss that a little bit because that might be relevant to an upcoming project I'm doing. I'm waiting on a few things to do my next video, and then I'm going to record that. Catherine Full Body. I've not played Catherine. What I've seen of it doesn't look like my kind of game, honestly. Just got banned from a room. Said you were being incentive. Incentive? Incentive is when somebody convinces... Well, incentive is when you are compelled to do something. I forget what the specific definition is. Pecs are partly torn because you benched 190 for no reason. What's 190 pounds or 190 kilos? 190 kilos would be insane. Hello, BC Ideas. How's it going? Insensitive. Okay. True forehead moment. 190. Did you mean pounds or kilos? Because I'm just curious. Hang on, I need to know. You doing good? 190 pounds. Okay. Because I was going to say 190 kilograms is 418 pounds, which is a lot. That's powerlifting bench level. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing alright. Didn't somewhere say it was okay to murder trans people in some sort of OMGM shot? Yeah, that's the trans panic defense. To sum up what the trans panic and the gay panic defense and all these things, it's they are essentially a legal defense you can use if for some reason you happen to murder or assault or whatever someone who is queer. You can legally, in some parts of the world, use the defense, they freaked me out because they're gay or they're trans, and that's why I acted the way that I did. I lost my mental faculties. That's why I went and beat the shit out of a transgender person with a baseball bat. Totally normal behavior. Hang on a second. Can someone tell me how to get these fucking sub goals to stay where I put them on the screen? Jesus fucking Christ, stop moving, you little shits. Yeah, the ew, that not me defense. Pretty much. And, as far as I'm aware, it's not really that viable in a courtroom. Chances are most people, on a jury or what have you, and most judges will throw out that defense. It's not going to get through. And if you try to use it legitimately in a courtroom situation, the jury is going to laugh you out of court most of the time. However, it still can be used, and certain very manipulative lawyers have been able to use it to some success. Grown, yeah. What's wrong with people? We know what's wrong with people. We know a lot about what's wrong with people. I couldn't control my behavior, a thing that normally results in consequences, but because the victim was trans/gay, I shouldn't face consequences. Essentially. Which is annoying as all buggery, but, fingers crossed within the not too distant future, these kinds of things will disappear and we won't have to worry about them anymore. But the way things are going, at least in the United States and the UK, and I do fear it coming to Australia, things are probably going to get worse before they get better. I fear, I dread. I just need to figure out how to keep these fucking things locked to one position so they don't keep going off the side of my screen. Hang on. Hold on a sec. Because I've got these, for example, my sub-goals over here are set to right alignment, right? So technically speaking, you would think if, for example, my sub-goal suddenly jumped up 1,000, the text should move into the screen, not off the screen, which it seems to keep doing for some reason, and it's annoying the buggery out of me. Anyway, you're working on an art idea, a trans flag with a symbol morphing between female and male. There you go. Can we stop calling it emotional baggage and just call it a grief game? It'll be like if you could found out someone you were dating dyed their hair and said, oh my god, they like... Yeah. Effectively, that's it. Like, effectively, that's the basis for the whole concept. Is, you know, the idea that you were lied to about something. And the thing is, if you were going to have sex with somebody, you should probably clarify before you, like... Not saying that this is going to be a common thing, but were it me, and there were a man, and there's not, let's clarify, lesbian. Let's just say, for example, there were a man, and there was the possibility for that to go back to the bedroom kind of a situation. Well, let's just say you met at a bar. My personal inclination in that circumstance would be like, if it were to go to the bedroom scenario, we've had a few drinks, we want to go back to the hotel, have fun times, I probably would have at some point during the night of drinking leaned in and said, oh, by the way, I'm transgender. I hope you're okay with that. And fingers crossed, being in a public scenario, being in a public forum like a bar or a restaurant or wherever, they'd be like, oh, and maybe get that, like in the case of, say, a one-night stand, right? In the case of, say, a one-night stand, less so a relationship. I feel like if it's a relationship, a long-form kind of a thing, you probably would have discussed that, and both parties would probably be okay with it or not and break up, you know? Logical conclusion here. No trans people should be getting killed over this shit, but they do anyway. Oh, Max, what have I missed? Let me see. Hang on, let me get back. Discussing what you were dealing with, depression, a few other things, no different from others. We all have baggage, yes indeed. Saying being a gay man, turning 55 on Tuesday, 4/20, and what you had to deal with growing up in homophobe America back in the 80s. Yeah, that would have been terrifying. It was really, really bad back then, most certainly. If you put rainbow flags in the background, would that be a generalization or support? I'd say it'd be support. If you put a rainbow flag in, that's just generally considered to be a queer supportive flag at this point. Like, it's an overall, all-encompassing kind of thing. Maybe just don't kill people for no reason, you dingus. And I've been thinking about that concept a lot lately. I've been thinking about that notion a lot lately, about how so many people just want to kill someone. Like, it's a really disturbing thing how many people very distinctly would like to wipe out certain people off the planet. They don't say it outright, for the record. Most of these people don't say it outright, but you'll notice a lot of particular types of people. Hello, Vamp Baby, how you doing? A lot of particular types of people who have this attitude of like, I'm so good and macho and I'm normal and all of this kind of stuff. Like they really like this idea of only people like them are allowed to exist, and they love the idea of being able to attack certain groups of people verbally through the internet, through forums like YouTube and Twitch. And you know, if it came down to brass tacks, these are the kinds of people who would relish the opportunity to say, for example, go out with their guns and round up a whole bunch of trans people and put them in a camp to line them up against the wall. There are some who are out and out about it. I've had numerous comments on one of my YouTube videos where someone was like, face the wall. Somebody said that numerous times. I deleted the first one that they posted on the video. Then they came back with another one. And you just know that anyone who is constantly making those kinds of comments regarding, let's just stick with the trans people thing because I'm a trans. It's easiest to discuss it in that example. If there is someone who is constantly making jokes about how absurd trans people are, you know the kinds of jokes we're talking about. We're talking about the attack helicopter kind of stuff. If they are constantly making those generalizations, the I identify as this bullshit, what they're really trying to say is they see transgender people, and there are other groups of people, of course, as abnormal, as unusual, and they don't like them existing, and they would much prefer if transgender people normalized and became cis-hets and just integrated. And, you know, the men would wear suits and go to the office, and the women would wear dresses and get back in the kitchen, sort of thing. But simultaneously, I've heard these same kinds of people say they love the idea bizarrely. They love the idea that there are so many different people from so many different walks of life on our planet. Yet, at the same time, they will speak out against certain types of different people. I think Tucker Carlson actually said literally that on one of his casts, one of his videos, or whatever it was that he does. I don't know what Tucker Carlson's actual deal is. I've only seen a few YouTube videos of him, but I'm fairly certain it was either him or some other really aggressively right-wing commentator said words to the effect of, "I love the diversity of people in the world." But ultimately, it comes back down to that notion of, I love the diversity, but... reason we have different sex organs is to procreate and have the species grow. We don't need the species to grow anymore, though. That's the thing. They have no sense of originality. The whole, how compelling, please face the wall now bit has been covered. Has been a leftist bit reserved for chuds for years, yeah. Oh, I like these. I love these. These are cute. These are cute. Are there ad breaks? Oops, I pressed the wrong button. I fucking hate ad breaks. I'll tell you what. As far as I know, hang on a sec. Let me just check something really quickly. I love those. Those are cute. Let me see something here. When a streamer runs, let's see, disabling pre-rolls. Let's do this. Streamers can now disable pre-rolls. When a streamer runs a 30-second ad break, pre-rolls will be disabled for the next 10 minutes. When a streamer runs a 60-second ad break, pre-rolls are disabled for the next 20 minutes. When a streamer runs an ad break for 90 seconds or longer, pre-rolls are disabled for the next 30 minutes. Which is a thing you could do. I could do that. Do you want me to run an ad break now? So that why can't I set it to higher than 1 minute? Do you want me to run an ad break now so we don't get any mid-rolls for a bit? I hate doing it. I don't like doing it. I feel like I got rid of my ad break button. I did. No, I didn't. There it is. Play ad. 90 seconds. So, give me a... Run an ad before you take off. Yeah, it's a good idea. Ugh. I want to do it now to get it out of the way, but at the same time, I don't want to do it because... Twitch, you fucked me here. I'll do it. Next time we do it, I will do it like the moment that the stream has got 1 minute 30 seconds left on the clock. I'll run the ad break. I'll see if I can integrate that. For those of you who are streamers, and I do want to talk a bit of content creation tonight as well as everything else that we do. But for example, for those of you who are not aware, I've got this button on my Stream Deck here. Let's switch to this for a sec. This is my Stream Deck, and this is my starting soon button. This is my go live button. So when I press it, it mutes my mic, it switches to my starting soon screen. Oh, there we go. OBS Studio Stream, I don't know what the difference is. Anyway, it puts my starting soon screen on, posts my going live tweet, changes my name on Twitter, and then has a delay of 10 minutes, right? Hello, Bun Bun, how you doing? What's going on? And then I could probably change this to be like 8 minutes and 30 seconds of delay. Play it. I could insert play an ad here, play a 90-second ad here, and then we switch to the just chatting, turn the mic on. That's how my little intro scene works, So as soon as I press the go live button, all of that's automatic. I don't have to do anything else. Anyways, what's this you've sent me, Phage? There is a video I actually do want to do a bit of React Andying to tonight. Frankie Boyle's New World Order. Right, let's have a gander at this really quickly. This does say BBC, so I hope there are no BBCs in this. That would be bad for my streaming channel anyways.
But before I go, I'd like to leave you with this thought. An American missionary called John Chow died this year. A Christian missionary trying to bring the gospel to the world's most isolated tribe, the North Sentinelese, who killed him in a hail of arrows when he landed on their island. Do you know what he did to try to relax them as he approached? When he got off the boat, he took off his clothes and approached them in a pair of black Y-fronts. There are Christian groups saying he should be a martyr. He might even become a saint, the patron saint of daft cunts.
Hold on, let me turn the volume up because I hate the way this does this. There we go. The patron saint of daft cunts. Frankie Boyle's amazing.
It It was his third visit to the island. On a previous trip, someone shot an arrow through his Bible. If only God had given him some kind of sign. He didn't bring Christianity to the North Sentinelese, but he did bring them the concept of homoerotic suicide. He hasn't died in vain. A pelican has made a nest out of his pubic hair in the remains of his Bible, and his rib cage is now a monkey's xylophone. And he didn't totally fail as a missionary. As he died, he whispered the story of Christmas into the ear of a seagull. He learned some of the North Sentinelese language, so he understood the final words he heard. Aim for his underpants, someone yelled as their top marksman split his cock in two. His last...
I love it when they
His last act on Earth was to piss himself in 3 different directions at once. Casting rainbows like a Las Vegas fountain. He didn't give them faith, but the North Sentinelese will continue to learn from John Chow as his rotting body introduces them to every virus since Napoleon.
Oh, no.
And yet, really, I think the only thing John Chow is guilty of is something that most of us are guilty of: colonialist attitudes. British people, Europeans, Americans, we all grow up in the ruins of some kind of empire, and we tend to carry the attitudes that made them. You don't need to be right-wing for your thinking to be a product of empire. If you feel that you and your friends are some of the only good people in the world, that other people's consciousness needs to be raised to the level of your own, if you think that the religions of countries your empire fought wars against are barbaric, but the one they used to justify themselves is a certain Baroque charm, that's all post-colonial, privileged, white nonsense. Aren't we all, on some level, walking towards people with a big smile on our face and a pair of black Y-fronts? And yet, whatever happens, John Chow was right about one thing. He will be forgiven, as will his killers. We will all ultimately be forgiven, not by Jesus, but by death. The universe will also die. Forgiveness is everyone's ultimate destiny, because eventually there will be nobody left to hold a grudge and nowhere for them to do it. You will be forgiven because one day, it won't be an actual day because the sun won't exist. The concept of forgiveness will be forgotten, as will the concept of forgetting, and of concepts. We will all be...
Why do they always zoom in on people laughing in the audience? They did this on, I swear they did this on Sticks and Stones. For those of you who have seen Sticks and Stones, Dave Chappelle. I swear it's either this bit or there's another stand-up bit that he did or someone did. And most of the wide shots, you can tell who's right up front in the audience, right up next to the stage. And at some point they pan to a shot of like people to his right, I think. And they're like, there's him on stage. And for those who don't know, they tend to do several recordings of a stand-up set over the course of several days. So people will go in and see the show live, and they'll use the best audience reactions for the ultimate special that releases on Netflix or whatever. And they do this zoom in shot, and Dave's there on the stage, and down next to him in his right are like, say 3 people wearing a certain thing, but in the wide shot, it comes back to the wide shot, they're 3 completely different people. And of course, you look at the rest if you pay attention to the rest of the audience, you can tell it's a different audience. So that's kind of amusing. On that subject, I just thought I'd bring that up.
Forgiven by the heat death of the universe. Merry Christmas.
Well, there we go. I didn't need to pause there. That was the very end of it. Okay, that was good. Anywho's. How today where you were on high alert, high anxiety, on the verge of tears, fucking love school? Well, Unicorn, I can join you in being on high alert and high anxiety. That's where I've been all day today, but I don't like to talk about it on stream. I don't like to go very deep into my own anxiety, but I feel for you, Unicorn, and I hope you have a very lovely... What time is it where you are? Afternoon? Night? I hope things chill out for you. Let's put our lo-fi back on. Lots of love to you, Fran. Always hate it when a comic does a joke about race, which will be PC anyway, and the camera switches to a POC in the audience, so we know, okay, a black person is laughing at it. That's a very subtle bit of manipulation, isn't it? We love that one. How often do they pan to a trans person when Ricky Gervais makes another helicopter joke? Semi-abused at work the other night. Oh my god, I hate that. I'm so sorry. Emotionally exhausted. Jador, welcome in, by the way. Sorry if I've missed anybody. We were a bit distracted, obviously. We'll come back to our discussion. I look a little smaller. I bet you it's this cardigan. I bet you it's this cardigan. I have been... Well, I'm still around 72 kilos. I haven't lost weight. There you go, Fox. I'm actually annoyed with myself because I've been eating a lot more lately. And my weight has gone from 70 kilos, where I was happy sitting, up to about 73. I'm down to 72 as of this week. I want to get down to 67. I want to get lean, like maybe even 65. I want to get to visible abs in any lighting lean. Wish you could get anywhere over 55. How tall are you, bud? If you don't mind my asking. You just lost 2 more pounds. Let me show you something. Like, I feel like I look small because this cardigan is like a double XL or something. It's huge.
Welcome back,
yeah,
supporter
Ro.
of the cause.
I love your face.
Hey, I haven't had intense enough insomnia/nocturnalness in a while to be on Australia time, which is good for me in general, but it means I'm never up for your streams anymore. Also, you stream at a different time now, I think. Anyway, keep up the...
Oh, I'm sorry that got cut off. But if you can look, you can tell I'm not smaller. I've still got the guns. Thank you so kindly for the sub. Thank you so kindly for the tier 1. And I think your message got cut off. Anyway, feel free to paste the rest in chat if you want. What I was going to say is I'm not streaming at a different time. Daylight savings happens, so it's still 9:25 for me. But for some of you, Magic Man, by the way, mwah, there you go. Small Abby. Well, I'll put the cardigan back on, so I'm Small Abby, because it got cold really quick today. It's currently 9:26 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. How's about we play a mid-roll ad in a minute, which I don't want to fucking do, but it'll cut the ads off for a bit, so anyone who comes in will not get struck with a pre-roll, and we'll just chill out. Oh my god, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at my sub goal. What? Get back over here. Back on the screen, you little wanker. Why does it keep moving? Why does it keep moving? I don't like it. I hate it. Back over here. Asshole. Anyway, the sub goal is a bratty sub. You are getting the whip later, I tell you. Speaking of whips, I've been watching Castlevania. Oh my god, why did no one tell me that show is so amazing? Holy fuck, I love it. I love it so much, it's so good. Reminds me a lot of Berserk. Let me fix this sub goal up again. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to actually swap to the scene. There we go, whatevs, mate, whatevs. I should put it somewhere else where if like it floats away, it's not gonna matter that much.
The Rogue Room appreciates your recommendation.
Jador, welcome. No, not welcome. Thank you for the host, sorry. Whips or whipped cream? Oh, that's a contentious one. All right, hang on. Let's find out. I'm honestly not sure. What's the context? You can add more votes if you've got bits, by the way. Throw them in there. I'm gonna ask you this. Okay, Twitch is dominated by hoary girls in bathtubs. I mean, we stand our bathtub queens, but why do you say that? Why do you say that Twitch is dominated by bathtub ladies? If you don't mind my asking. It's not nice to slut shame, of course. Let's clarify. If you can make money streaming from a hot tub, that's a great way to make money. Yes, it is. And if you can do it on Twitch and you're doing so within TOS, I don't see a problem with it. Is my personal take. I want like an actual clarification. No, it's not they weren't trolling. They weren't like, I don't see this person as a troll. Oh, hang on, what did you post? Here's your favorite American comedian who is a socialist and hates both main parties and very funny about it. Oh, Lewis Black. I know Lewis Black. Lewis Black is great. We might have a look at Lewis Black's stand-ups shortly. Oh my god, look at the quality of this video though. Jesus, cunt in Christ. Just came to Twitch recently and clicked on the just chatting part. Okay. Well, first of all, why did you click on just chatting as your first thing? I mean, I feel like just as an inclination, just as a Hey, look, I'm on the recommended section. Recommended for you, Abigail Beck. So you're not a gamer. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting. Oh, there's Jordan. Look at this. I'm right next to Jordan. Of course, it's recommended for me, so this is going to be my recommended stuff. But you answered up there. What'd you... Because a girl did a live stream in a lingerie in an indoor inflatable kiddie pool. People have been shitting on it. Yeah, I saw that. I forgot what... I was going to say Lottie Blix, and like it was definitely not Lottie Blix. Who was it? I know the name of the person who did that. Jelly, hello, how you doing? But yeah, my personal opinion is as long as they're not breaking terms of service, as long as they're not doing anything that breaks terms of service, technically speaking. Zeta, welcome to the Rogue Room. As long as they're not doing anything that breaks terms of service. Okay, so everyone wants whips, not whipped cream. There you go. Personally, I'd like a bit of both. But anywho. But. What was I saying? If they can do anything on the platform, even if it is sexualized, there's no need to call them whores what was the point I was making here? There's no need to call them whores or sluts or any of that kind of stuff. I know some people do like to reclaim those words for themselves, which is entirely fine. Anyway, if you got half naked and showed your bulge in a hot tub for cash, there have been men who've actually done it. There have been men who've done that. And they've been fine. I mean, it might be slutty if you see it that way. If you want to define that yourself as being slutty, then yeah, go ahead. But, and there's been a thing recently about the inequality between, say, the sexes. Posture check. Well, I do kind of need that. I gotta be careful. But the... What was I gonna say? Leave your hat on. Why are people who don't seem as okay with the hot tub stuff get so demonized all the time by the majority of people, as if they need to like it or else they are awful or not? I think I know what you're saying. It's mostly because the people who are bringing up the discussion don't really need to bring up the discussion. They're just looking to have an argument about something, and that something is largely the fact that there are women on Twitch who are using their sexuality to their advantage, just skirting TOS, which again is totally fine. If Twitch allows them to do so, if they are keeping within the terms of service and not outright flashing the camera, which obviously we have the Alinity situation where she had to ban herself from the platform before they would even do anything. There are most certainly some women who can get away with a lot more than others based on just their level of popularity. Again, someone like, I mean, I wouldn't expect Pokemon to do any of this kind of shit. She seems very, very vanilla in that regard. But if a certain streamer were to, pursue a more sexualized type of content, and you get recommended that type of content, it's because, well, it's what Twitch thinks you would like. But anyway. But yeah, ultimately, Rosie, the point that you've made there is perfect. If you don't like it, you don't need to watch it. And yeah, I was going to bring this up. The majority of the most followed Twitch channels, no matter which way you frame it, the top 50 streamers, I think it's the top 50 streamers, no, Pokemon, let me get through this. As far as I know, Pokemon is the only one in the top 50 who is female. So to claim, for example, that women in hot tubs are dominating Twitch is just facetious on its own merits. There's no basis for it. Is there one other? There might be one other. I'm trying to think of who it would be. I'm just scrolling through this. Fuck this song. Let me see. I don't know who it would be because, like, a lot of these names I'm not familiar with, like, if they're masculine or feminine, because there's a lot of international names here that I don't recognize. Casey Tron's definitely not in the top 50, let me tell you. She is nowhere near the top 50. She averages like 600 viewers. Amaranth is up there, but she's nowhere near the top. Let me actually look at Casey's stats. It might have changed. Come on. I'm waiting to find out what Casey Tron's... You have to hit top 100 to find... Yeah, I think so. Why is it not like... Okay, so Casey Tron's average viewers are about just under 1,000. She's definitely not in the top. Let me go to channels for a sec on Twitch Tracker. if we were to scroll through this, and this is the top streamers ranked by average concurrent viewers for the last 30 days on Twitch Tracker, right? So if we go through these, we'll stop when we see a female streamer. But the problem is, like, if people have got avatars like this, it's hard to tell. But if somebody knows, for example, let me know. Like, just on the last 30 days alone, I'm not even seeing Pokey in here. Is she streaming at the moment, or is she on a break? She might be on a break. Yeah, like, I can't tell with some of these accounts. It's difficult. There's Pokey at number 77. Why am I not in the top 10? Because I'm not pulling like 60,000 viewers a stream. That'd be nice. Ew. Rice Gum. He can go in the fucking bin. Well, there's the top 100, but like I said, I can't really tell with some of these. Some of these are brand accounts as well, which might conflate the stats a little bit, make things a little bit more complicated. Amaranth is 63rd on the list you're looking at. There we go. So Amaranth is up there. Pokemon is up there. Alinity would be up there. But the vast majority of the top streamers on the platform are still men and are still largely esports personalities or gaming personalities in some way, shape, or form. So it's a non-argument to say that, you know, hot tub streamers are dominating the platform when they're not. Pokemon the Turf, who had women be verified by voice on her Discord so she could... Did she really? Oh my god, that's fucked. The most viewed you've seen has 0 females. Boobs are pretty and also just part of the human body. If they're sexual too, yeah, true, that's a you issue, not a boob issue. Melina has 558.2k following, but how many viewers is she getting is the thing. Like, that's the main thing. You can have millions of followers. You can be partnered, like, for example, I've seen a few Twitch partners. I don't want to call them, I don't want to bring in any names or anything like that, but I've seen a few Twitch partners who are pulling in, like, 10 viewers. Just as an example. So it doesn't really matter how much of a following you have. I've seen people with hundreds of thousands of followers with, like, dismal numbers, dismal viewership. You know what you'd like to see trending at the top of Twitch? Diversity, black, trans, NB, people considered conventionally unattractive by society. Yes, there's been a lot of discussion about that recently, specifically with regards to the fact that we still don't have a trans tag, and now there are folks rallying together to get a black tag added as well. Anyway, let's take a quick pause, let's run an ad break, we'll come back to this discussion in a moment because I want to turn off mid-rolls. So, 90 seconds, and let me get a timer up. I'm going to get a timer up really quickly. I'm going to get my little timer up. And I'm going to set it to... Okay. I'm going to have a timer. There we go. There's ads. Enjoy the ads for a second, unless you're subscribed, of course. That should have worked, I think. There we go. Pre-rolls are now disabled for 32 minutes if you guys are hanging out. I'm just going to have this little timer up. I'm just going to watch the timer count down meanderingly. If you're sitting here and you're subbed or whatever and you're not seeing ads, fantastic. Awesome shit. I'm just chilling. We'll come back to the actual discussion in a moment because this is a good discussion to have. This is good. This is fun. There are some newsy things I want to talk about, like, for example, the anti-trans bills and things like that. We'll come back around to that. But we will try to run these ad breaks every half hour or so to prevent mid-rolls from happening, which fucking sucks. Women can expose their bodies and do with them as they wish. If that bothers you, just don't interact with it. Yeah, exactly. Can we talk about these two? Speaking of using your sexuality on Twitch, yes. Look at those guys. Look at the veins. Look at the vascularity. Look at are they just legitimately twins? They're just legitimately twins. I'm so used to seeing like green screen antics where someone is hanging out with themselves in scene. No, these are the twins. Holy shit. Sirs, are those legal? Do you have... I want those shorts too. I've got similar shorts. Excuse me, sirs. Do you have license and registration for those? Oh, there we go. Time is up. Okay. Time is over. There's your ad break. So we shouldn't have any ads for another half an hour. I'm looking respectfully. Those are some guns, dude. Is it synthol? I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, it's possible. If they're bodybuilders, it's entirely possible they do use synthol. Just the vascularity in the shoulders alone says to me they're probably on the gear, but I don't want to speculate. Anywho, Those guns, though. Look at my little piss week nonsense. I mean, I don't want to be huge, though, anymore, so I suppose that's a good thing. Anyway, it seems that Pokemon apologized for one of her mods excluding a trans woman on her Discord. Okay, there you go. So let's have a look at this. Pokemon server has a girls role, but apparently you can't get it unless you verify by talking in voice chat. I asked them all what happens if you're trans, and they just said straight up I couldn't get the role. Literally just got banned for saying I'm trans in the server. Unfortunately, wasn't her idea. It was Pokey's idea that girls only. Yeah, and I'm a girl. A trans girl. I'm looking into this with said mod / proof of the conversation that was held between them and will contact SH blah 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 directly to resolve this and to assure she is welcomed properly. Anyone in my community should be welcomed with open arms no matter what gender, sexuality, and I'm so sorry if anyone was made to feel otherwise, especially by a mod. That is not okay, and I'll make sure that it's properly handled. Furthermore, I've unmodded the person in question. Again, I'm so sorry for this interaction, as it is not something I reinforce / a rule of mine, and is far from representative of my personal opinions as I truly support the trans community. Okay. Yeah, there's the apology. This is the thing... I've still got their channel up. Oops. This is the thing that I've heard about Pokemon, and I'm not trying to demonize her or anything like that, but she has had a very controversial past with a number of things that she has said or done and then apologized and quickly rectified her personal image because she is a very, very smart businesswoman. She wouldn't be where she is if she was not good at manipulating her image to be as outwardly... sensitive to everybody's feelings as possible, to be as, saving the channel for later, obviously. Tiny compared to these guys from the 1980s, oh my god. The Barbarian Brothers. Hang on. Let me have just a glance here. Is there just a picture? Just a picture of who these guys are? I mean, I've seen big dudes. Just a glance here. I've seen big dudes before. I know what big bodybuilder types look like. Take a look at some of the mass monsters that are in the bodybuilding industry today. They're ridiculously sized. Absolutely ludicrous. Look at guys like, what's his fucking name? Are they doing Olympia at the moment? Who's the current Mr. Olympia? Who's the 2010s? Jake Cutler, Ronnie Coleman. Look at... excuse me. Brandon Curry looks like, look at this dude, for example. Massive. Absolutely massive. Bodybuilders get ridiculous. Anywho, I don't know why we're getting into that now. We started discussing misogyny, largely. Due to the whole hot tub streamers thing. And now we've sort of moved on to bodybuilders, apparently. But anyway, you're making a big fuss over very little, i.e. being shown things on the front page for 10 seconds. It takes to pick which one of your follows to tune in. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you there, Rosie. There's no point to complain about the hot tub streamers when you can choose anything else to look at. If you're worried that it's being... forced down your throat or whatever it is, you have the option to go and search for what kind of content you want on the platform. Imagine forgetting I have a... Shut up! I do not forget I have a scroll wheel. I'm scrolling chat right now. Thank you very kindly. It was her mod. She apologized for somebody else. Didn't even need to apologize. Really? I think at her size, when there is the discussion to have there about if you or someone associated with your community who is notable enough, i.e. a moderator or just someone who is affiliated with your community, does or says something, there is not necessarily a responsibility, but in the case of it being her Discord moderator, where, Pokey is essentially the CEO of the company. So her moderator does something. If it happens under your watch, you are partially responsible, yes. However, in a similar vein, there was the Lindsay Ellis video recently about her cancelling, where ContraPoints tweeted about it and said she's not going to comment on it because she hasn't seen the movie and all this. But everybody knows ContraPoints and Lindsay Ellis are close friends, right? So there is sort of an expectation socially, because of the fact that they're that closely associated with one another, that if one of them does something, the other one's got to comment on it on social media or whatever. And in the same vein, when you've got someone like a moderator in a Discord or in a stream or wherever, and you're associated with that person, then you have to acknowledge that there's a problem. And in the ContraPoints and Lindsay Ellis, she's an author. She wrote Axiom's End. And she recently made a comparison between like Avatar: The Last Airbender and Raya and the Last Dragon. And Twitter flew off the handle at her saying it was racist. Lindsay Ellis, yeah, just put an S before the A there and you've got it. Anyway, yeah, she's an author apparently. I haven't read her book, but yeah. I ain't gonna say she's a turf for another, but yeah, you can't really say that. You can't really, but then you have the issue of the moderator asserting that it was Pokemon's decision to have the girls' role only be available to cis girls, right? And the idea that in order to get the role, you need to be verified via voice chat. And like the situation there is, of course, it's very complicated because how are we supposed to verify if that's the case or not? How are we supposed to know when she comes out and says, I didn't make this a thing, but at the same time her mods are saying this was her idea? Like you got the whole either or situation. Did she say, yeah, like she says it's one of her mod's decisions, but the mod says it was her decision to do it. When you've seen Frank Zane or Arnold Schwarzenegger, they looked in their prime superhuman, but if someone is under 6 foot, it does kind of change the effect. Find shorter guys are usually aggressive. Interesting. Do you know about Rich Piana's? Rich Piana had like a chart of like the perfect bodybuilder, right? His ideal bodybuilder body type was someone who's 5'10", and then like the perfect measurements. Like he'd done an illustrations like these are the perfect measurements for this muscle, this muscle, this muscle, all that. It's rather interesting to look at. Yeah, he's dead now, so that doesn't matter. Anyway, why was there a girls' role at all? Good question. I mean, I don't know anything about Pokey's Discord at the end of the day. We have to remember when to say a singular person and everyone, because humans do that a lot and holds a lot of accountability. Yeah, true. If you trust someone to say something for you, you can't distance yourself too much when a person says something on your behalf. Indeed. Correct. So, yeah. Don't know the moderator speak on their behalf. It's just someone keeping the community in check. Have I heard of Ladybeard? I've heard of bearded ladies, but not of Ladybeard specifically. Do tell. Do tell. It's not like spokesperson or media person for them. But anyway, yeah, coming back ultimately to sum up the whole hot tub streamers thing, which is always a contentious issue. Like everyone's always going on about this. It seems like every other week. Yeah, sometimes I can understand that, Jelly. Sometimes it's nice to have a batch. Thank you for those. Sometimes it's nice to have a girls' gaming night. I don't think I've ever actually had girls' gaming night. I still have, I don't really play a lot of multiplayer games in general. I haven't done girls' gaming night yet, though. Cross-dressing, cosplaying, singer, actor, and wrestler. That might have been why they had a girls' role. I'm not sure. Everyone is evil, and if they say they are good, that just proves how evil they are. It's not working. The image isn't working. Oh, there we go. What a fucking legend. What a fucking legend. Look at him. Or do we refer to him as her? Do we refer to them as her in this instance? Do they have different pronouns when they're in costume? That's awesome. You know what's great though is wrestling, and if you keep up to date with Jim James, Stephanie Sterling, you'll know that they are a wrestler. They are non-binary, and they're a big proponent of the idea of cross-gender wrestling. So anyone of any gender gets in the ring and wrestles and does the thing, and it's the perfect format for it. Because it's all fucking fake. It's the perfect sport. Yeah, Stardust. Because it's all made up. The decision is already decided before the match happens. It's fantastic. CIA agent on a long-term mission to destabilize trans activists. It's still real to me, damn it! Yeah, that's the great thing is like if Brock Lesnar and some 5'2", 110-pound woman went up against each other in a wrestling match, they could totally script it that Brock Lesnar loses and it would be tremendous. It'd be fucking amazing. Like we've had matches where Rey Mysterio goes up against the Big Show or something like that. There's no reason Rey Mysterio should have a single bit of a fighting chance against him. But he's kicked his ass, he's kicked Kane's ass, he's kicked The Undertaker's ass because it's fake. It's not real. You could do some really cool stunts with the size difference too. It's not fake. It's not fake. There's still a lot of athleticism, but the decisions are made beforehand. It's choreographed, yes. So whoever wins is decided behind the scenes. That being said, there have been a bunch of matches where it's like tiny little guy up against really big guy, and big guy just punches him dead, and that's the end of the match. Scripted. Scripted is the way to phrase it, because a lot of the time they have a tendency to plot out their big moments, and then what they will do is sometimes improvise a bunch of other a bunch of other moves throughout the match, which is why, if they have a good moment that they want to really nail, and they muck it up, it can lead to some tension behind the scenes. You might remember the Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston situation. 5-0 Alexa Bliss v 6-4 Randy Orton, nice. Cross-gender boxing. Yeah, fake is the wrong term. I've done wrestling practice. I have been injured in the ring, but it's scripted. It's not a technical sport in the same sense. However, a lot of the reason people get awarded belts and things like that is because of their performance. Like, are they good at putting on an entertaining show in the ring will generally lead to them being offered a championship opportunity, a belt. Bodybuilding template, everyone try to look like with superstar Billy Graham. Your 6'4" frame created the template between 6'2", 6'9", being the best in there. Moves look real and have weight. The cruiserweight division and Lucha Libres are impressive, but not really main event beyond Japan and Mexico. Yeah, I've noticed that. Like, America likes the big, brutish guy, which tells you a lot about what America values. I did not see Russell Brand had a 2-hour discussion with Peterson. That does sound interesting. Maybe we could get that a look. Okay, I'm just like, I brought this up before and I forgot to read it, but I wanted to remind myself what functionalism is, and I'm reading the description on like the Google search page, and it says functionalism is the doctrine that what makes something a thought, desire, pain, or any other type of mental state depends on its internal constitution, but solely on its function. Depends not on its internal constitution, but solely on its function or the role it plays in the cognitive system of which it is a part. I don't get that. I've learned about this, and I don't get that. Yes, I did watch the Lindsay Ellis movie. Yes, I did. It was a good video. I liked it. I need to rejig my mind on functionalism. I've forgotten what the hell's going on there. Neurodiverse, right? How do you read these big words and understand them? I'm neurodiverse in the sense that big words make a lot of sense to me, usually. I honestly, like, I want to say, because there's a concept called hyperfocusing among neurodiverse people, and that is that you will latch onto an idea, latch onto a concept, and you will intently focus on that almost throughout your life. Like, someone who is a savant will definitely latch onto something throughout their life, their entire life. But some people just hyperfocus on, yeah, you can hear the cat. Some people will hyperfocus for a little while, or hyperfocus on something that just sort of stays consistent but is not everything they do. And I feel like words is one of my big things in that regard. It's like I'm constantly on the look for new words, no matter what they're about, honestly. And I adore the concept of learning at least the language that I have available to me. I don't think I'd have the patience to learn a new language. I do have a streaming schedule. It should be listed on the page here somewhere. It's 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, Monday to Friday. So this is my first day back for the week, and so the next 4 nights I should be streaming. Wednesday will be Fallout New Vegas, and I saw the mention of Valheim Girls Night. That would be a fun thing to do. Excuse me. A while ago it was landmines. That's interesting. Big words are just your go-to. You don't know why, but you find the English language to be a beautiful language that has so much variety. I can understand that. Yeah. I'm just getting my socks off because now my feet are fucking warm, dude. Candy Graham, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? So you're reading functionalism's definition is super not helpful. The idea is basically that a cognitive system's being or existence, or what it is defined by what it does, and not like whether it's made of carbon atoms, or whether it's wet or dry, or made of the right kind of stuff, soul stuff. Still not quite getting it though. Like, I feel like my tutor at university understood, was able to elucidate the point a lot better than I can understand it at the moment for some reason. Really good at taking in a lot of information at once and just passing it while paying attention to everything else. Big words kind of makes you sound dumb. How so? How so? Honestly. Sleepy Boys Incorporated, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? Yes, words are just words, but some words are certainly bigger than others and have more meaning than others. Some words you're not going to teach to a second grader because the concepts are far beyond their understanding. And as you grow older, you would be able to have a tighter grasp on those concepts. Of course, if you were able to teach a younger child earlier on to understand bigger words and understand the definitions and the meanings behind those things, that can have an impact, certainly, on a child's development. Thanks for the hydration. Interphrasmic combobulation. Mum told you the big words, told you big words that you didn't know at a young age and you swallowed them up. But as you got older, your brain just doesn't zone in on a lot of big words at once. Yeah, I've found that there are a lot of cases wherein I will be reading about something and I will find myself needing to remind myself of what something is. So I need to stop, look up the definition, even though I know what the word is, and then come back to whatever it was I was reading, which can often be quite distracting, can take away from whatever it is that I'm doing. Reread the paragraph a lot? Yeah, I do that a lot. You really want to go back and learn your second language, probably, but the motivation, yeah. I was trying to learn Swedish, German, can't remember what else. I was trying to read a number of different languages for a while there, but I just never stuck with them. It's too complicated, and I don't have much purpose for learning different languages. You'll concede complex language is a better term, but time is short and life is shorter. So big words it is, yeah, pretty much. That about sums it up. Brevity is the soul of wit, which is why I stream for 3 hours and no longer. Hardest language is Icelandic. Oh, really? Why is that? It's interesting to hear, like, it's interesting to understand, like, the way that different languages function. On the subject of functionalism, which has nothing to do with that. But there are a number of different, like, the ways that languages are structured, sentences are structured. We have this discussion around pronouns and such all the fucking time, right? And there are certain languages that are so densely gendered and other languages that are not gendered at all, sort of thing. But to explain what that means, I would have to understand those languages. Finland have no pronouns. There you go. Trying to learn Chinese, Mandarin, but it was just too difficult, so he gave up on it. I can understand that. Your Hungarian is also said to be one of the hardest languages. I wonder why exactly. What do you define? How do we define the hardest languages? Give pronouns to inanimate objects. I mean, to an extent, English folks do as well. English-speaking folks do as well, but it's largely like calling a boat she, for example, which is just dumb. They want to fuck the boat. The third person in Hungarian is non-binary. It's just them. Interesting. Boats are all she. Shisha. She sells seashells by the seashore. Out of her boat, which is also a she. What is the topic? Good question. We're all over the place. Is the boat female? I mean, probably. Can we do a news? Can we do a news? Is the topic the sun exploding? How about we do fairy bread? Do we want to do fairy bread? Let's do fairy bread. Let's talk about something absolutely, honestly incredible. Do you remember the situation recently with Dr. Seuss, wherein people, Futsible, welcome to the Rogue Room, wherein a bunch of right-wing political commentators and as a result a bunch of right-wing leaning people in general on the internet lost their collective fucking minds because Dr. Seuss was being cancelled. But he wasn't. 6 of his less published books were being removed from shelves. Get out of here, there's a bug in the way. And Evie Weeb, welcome to the Rogue Room. Yeah, cried about losing 6 books they'd never read, and then they went off saying, I'm going to go and buy all the copies of The Cat in the Hat and Green Eggs in Ham. They're not going to cancel Dr. Seuss. The right really loves this cancel culture rhetoric, this idea that something, you know, the left is trying to just destroy everything that we've culturally come to know and love. And what's even better than that, what's even better than seeing people freak out about shit like Dr. Seuss, is when people freak out about something being cancelled, but it's not actually being cancelled.
Another round.
Such as, Yara, thank you for the 100 bits.
And cancel Dr. Seuss, you liberal cucks.
How about this? For those of you who are Australian, you will be familiar with a cultural tradition. One of the few cultural icons we have as Australians. Oh, there you are. Hello. There's a cat. I didn't even realize that. Anyway. One of the few cultural foundations we have as Australians is fairy bread. Bigotry is un-Australian. Fake fairy bread petition dupes some big names. This is fairy bread. For those of you who don't know, it's bread. It's just bread, just sliced bread with butter and hundreds and thousands on it. Just sprinkles. It's just got sprinkles on it. But specifically, these round sprinkles. Okay? Some of Australia's most high-profile media organisations have been left red-faced after being fooled by a classic chaser stunt, and it's all about a kids' party staple. For those of you who don't know, the Chaser is a satire organisation.
Round on you.
Thank you for the 100.
Reclaim fairy, it's pretty cute.
The Chaser are a bunch of piss takers. They're satirists. The satirical group created an elaborate trail of fakery to back up an online petition calling for an end to the offensive term fairy bread, the white bread covered in multicolored sprinkles loved by 5-year-olds across the nation, and by me. I'm tempted to go to the shops and get some sprinkles, because I want some fairy bread, mate. Using the pseudonym of Alexis Chase, who apparently has a PhD and works in salesmanship at a lounge company, the group first set up a host of fake social media profiles. This is great. Then over a period of about a fortnight, Dr. Chase contacted selected news outlets, issued announcements, and drove online outrage about yet another example of cancel culture. Alexis Chase, PhD, says, "Attention, after spending my life abstaining from fairy bread, I have been fed up for too long. The term fairy is offensive and outdated and should not be used to refer to a classic Australian food. Fairy bread is un-Australian." They fucking went hard on this. It's great. I love it. Continuing on. Sharing her online petition via Twitter, Dr. Chase hit a sour note about the sweet party treat. I can't speak. After spending my life... Yep. Her petition gives a description of fairy bread, outlines why she thinks it's offensive, and then pushes for a name change to party bread. She doesn't exist. She's fake. The term fairy is outdated and offensive and has been used to belittle and oppress others. The fact that Australians in 2021 are still using this word in the name of a children's food is reprehensible, the petition reads. Bigotry is un-Australian, and so is fairy bread. The prank was clocked in early by Sydney radio host Ben Fordham, whose team researched Dr. Chase, who is also a self-proclaimed human rights campaigner. "I think the idea is to try and fool the media into thinking this campaign is legit," Fordham said on his radio show. "I'm pretty sure Alexis Chase is a type of couch." This is satire. This was a big joke. In fact, he was right. Lounge Lovers, the online furniture retailer where Dr. Chase claimed to work, sells an Alexis Chase. Perhaps this was a clue. Alexis reversible Chase sofa. Fordham called out the cheeky pranksters live on air, phoning Dr. Chase and berating her for using a fake name inspired by a type of couch and asking where she got her PhD. He pointed out the first 4 followers her account gained on Twitter were Chaser Boys, Craig Rucastle, Julian Morrow, Dominic Knight, and the Chaser's official account. Dr. Chase acknowledged the call hadn't gone to plan. But this is the thing. But that didn't stop the chaser, who kept up the ruse with Australians and news media outlets for several more days. It all came to a head on Friday when the anti-fairy bread petition threatened to go viral, appearing on a host of news websites from news.com.au to the Lad Bible. Meanwhile, some of the comments on the original petition appear to be fueled by outrage, while others seem to be in on the ruse. Anyone who makes fairy bread is worse than Hitler, and if they're a New Zealander, they should be deported under the character test. That's just science. Oh my god. Another questioned who the petition was directed at. Even if you succeed, which I can't imagine how, what do you do if people continue to call it fairy bread? Do you propose that such people be criminally prosecuted or allowed to be sued? They said. The news outlets, unfortunate enough to be fooled by the prank with headlines such as "Call to change name of beloved Aussie food," have since removed the articles. But not before causing an uproar on social media channels. Elsewhere, Dr. Chase is closing in on a goal of 1,500 signatures on her fake fairy bread petition. By early Friday afternoon, 1,091 people had signed on to share the outrage. Yarrow!
You are now one of us.
Thank you for the 10 gifted subs, you fucking legend. To Rosie Rose, Ilium Gal, Honor Rig, Miss Quinky, Eva Ray, Noob Nat, Thembo Supreme, Misky,
You are now
Mike
one
Osect,
of us.
and Donatello. I need to fix up the fucking alert. This is going to go for like the next 5 minutes of just saying things. There we go. It was a fucking joke, taking the piss out of everyone who gets
one of us.
obscenely outraged at the notion of something as obsequious as fairy bread being cancelled. It wasn't real.
You are now one of us.
It was fake. It was made up. Hello, cat. What are you doing? Hello. It was made up. It was an absolute farce. Here's a cat. You right? Here, my cat.
You are now one of us.
Yes, you are now one of us. Thank you. Is there even more? You didn't give more, did you? Oh. Did I say Eva? Yes, I did. Obsequious. I used the wrong word. See, my big words are failing me.
You are now one of us.
Facetious is the word I usually use. There we go. People losing their minds. This is why this is so hilarious. People losing their minds over stuff they don't understand. It comes back to the Dr. Seuss thing. How easily people and the media were manipulated to think, yeah, shut the fuck up, Botwick. Do I have to turn off the alert box? I'm gonna have to just like throw together an alert for when we get gifted 5 subs, 10 subs, 25. I think I was in someone's stream the other day and they got gifted 1,000 subs. Can you imagine gifting someone 1,000 subs? What the fuck? At any rate,
you are now one of us.
Yeah, I used the wrong word. Anyway, what have I missed? What have I missed? So that was satire. There was a satire thing.
You are now one
but
of us.
I do believe I read something about the gay time thing. Were they actually planning on changing that, or was that a joke? Was that another joke? Because the fairy bread thing is not offensive. Fairies are just fairies. However, the phrase has been used in a homophobic sense, but I didn't even see any mention of homophobia in the article, just that it's been used in an offensive way. But yeah, like golden gay time refers to people having a gay time, as in happy. And I think the use, I mean, I know kids will still use the term gay in a pejorative fashion, but that, you know, I feel like the term gay has been largely reclaimed anyway. Yes, it is just literally sprinkles on butter on bread. So you got to have the butter there to hold the sprinkles on. It's delightful. You should try it. It's good. It's not healthy by any stretch. Oh yeah, Tommy. Refer to the founder. I don't know if it actually... Yeah, on regular ass white bread is the best way to do it. Oh no. Oh my god. Hang on a second, Tommy. Hang on. Okay, maybe don't use that word. Oops. Anyway. But yes, that cheese, C cheese, is now being called cheer cheese, I think. Because of the fact that is a blatant slur. That's not really been reclaimed or anything like that. It is a blatant slur. And I'm not telling you which word was used. Oh, the C slur for darker skinned people. Freedom fries. Pre-roll ads are on. Alright, let's quickly run another ad break. Don't go away. Sub if you haven't. Google Cheer Cheese original name and you'll find it. There we go. Pre-roll ads. We'll disable the ads again. Sorry to be a pain in the ass, but I want to try to, like, you know, I want people to not have to deal with pre-roll ads if they come into the stream. The problem here, of course, is that the moment I trigger that, I don't know how long the ads are going to roll for. So I'm just going to sit here and meander. This kind of interrupts the content. I suppose it makes... I guess I can relate to like live show hosts. People who are up on stage in front of an audience. It's like, let's cut to commercial, and and then, like, what do? Do they entertain the crowd? I've heard certain live show hosts, when the cameras are off, are absolute fucking assholes, but are great at entertaining a crowd. I am worse than Lindsay Ellis. Significantly less attractive. That's the main thing. Like Ellen, possibly. I heard, what's his name? Not Red Simon. The guy who was going on about Hey Hey It's Saturday, you know, recently, he was saying, oh, hang on, Unicorn, let's do this. Daryl Summers, that's it. There we go. There's a poll for you. Excuse me. Yeah, so he is definitely looking for cheap publicity. He's trying to get his name back in the news. And he was saying shit like, oh, you couldn't get away with the stuff we did on Hey Hey It's Saturday in these days, because a lot of it was fucking outright racist. They had a revival show back in, I think, 2007. And they had a group of people come out in blackface doing a Michael Jackson bit. And it's like, how is blackface funny? Why is it funny to these people in 2000, like beyond the year 1900? You know? Which other words can't someone say here for reference? Just avoid racial slurs, generally speaking. I know whoever it was that said it originally, Tommy, didn't mean to use it in that sense. However, just avoid any racial slurs, generally speaking. Because my bot has got a whole list. I couldn't go through the whole list. There's so many variations. Don't understand why they still ever offer that up as entertainment. I don't know. I guess the whole different strokes for different folks thing comes into play there. However, the reality of the situation is that you know, it looks like Potato and Sweet Potato is a tie battle here, by the way. The reality of the situation is that it's still, by and large, the concept of, say, blackface is that it's punching down. It's always punching down. It's never not going to be punching down. Excuse me. Where is the sword? It's there, behind chat. Chat is hiding the sword. And it's the same with the attack helicopter joke, right? It's just used to attack someone. It's just used to punch down. Yeah, Cartman wore blackface. Cartman as a character is designed to be almost like Filthy Frank. Thank you for the hydration, Black Cat. Oh, it's a tie. It's Potato and Sweet Potato. Which patat? Both. But yeah, yeah, like Filthy Frank, according to the creator, I've forgotten what his name is, George Miller. The whole point of the Filthy Frank character was to be as reprehensible as possible, and it's the same with Cartman on South Park. He's not meant to be a likable character. If you like the character, you're missing the point, sort of thing, which sucks because I mean that's kind of how Filthy Frank got as much popularity as he did. And other similar characters, Rick Sanchez, for example, these characters are reprehensible. They're really bad people, and if you align with their viewpoints, you're missing the point of the characterization, right? Love the attack helicopter joke. Helps you know whom to never speak to or listen to again. Exactly, yes. You can just safely avoid those people. Sweet potatoes can't be jacket potatoes. Well, that is a shame then. So Filthy Frank was the character of George Miller, who is a Japanese Australian who is now a musician who goes by Joji, but for a good few years there he was putting out he was putting out music when he was Filthy Frank, but for a long time he was putting out these really obscene, over-the-top videos in which he would largely be a political satirist in a lot of ways, like a social commentator in a lot of ways. Was a YouTuber until a few years ago when he cancelled that whole... He, like, shut that whole thing down. Stopped creating that content because he saw the direction in which YouTube was going. Yeah, Joji is Filthy Frank. And Joji has always been a musician type anyway, so he was like, once he had the level of fame that he had, he decided to go whole hog on the music and drop the Filthy Frank persona. Because he realized that his character would not be monetizable on YouTube. YouTube would probably start taking down his videos, or what's the phrase? They would algorithmically shut down his channel, essentially. It's something that happened recently to Status Coup as well. That channel has been losing subscribers after putting out a video that YouTube claims violates its terms of service. So YouTube just enforces its TOS however it feels like, right? And, you know, the George Miller Filthy Frank, the character, essentially died at some point. And, not died, like, I mean the channel died. Because he put out a final video, and a lot of his friends, Max Mofo, iDubbbz, Anything for Views, all basically said he got out at the right time. He saw the way YouTube was going, and, you know, it was just like it was not going to have a platform for that character anymore. Filthy Frank was largely a piss take of really, really reprehensible types of people that he found online. Was essentially the way that the Filthy Frank character was supposed to be portrayed. But yeah, the thing is, like, if you think Filthy Frank is a good person, you know, as a character, you're missing the point of the character, which is not to be a good person. Same with Cartman, same with Rick Sanchez, same with a bunch of other characters. Where it's like this, you know, there might be relatable moments for this character, but you're not supposed to like them. They are effectively supposed to be the villain, but the thing is they are portrayed in a way that they are the protagonist of their particular types of whatever it is they're a part of. The Punisher was supposed to be a reprehensible character, but the LARP chuds messed it up. Well, true. Total subs is for the month, yeah. It's my sub total at the moment. So it was actually over 200 as of like Thursday, but I guess I've lost a ton of gifted subs. So, you bastards! How dare you? My goal was 250, but it's dropped down over the past 3 days because I haven't streamed since Thursday. So I guess people just don't like me anymore. I'm being cancelled. I have seen Deadly Twister. Deadly Twister was quite funny. The left has a sense of humor. The right has no punchlines. Oh, they got punchlines, punch down lines. Have a more popular character than Filthy Frank to compare Cartman to in that same vein. Well, Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. That's what
I see you.
Hey, Noctane, thank you for the raid.
Welcome,
Let's do the raid
friends.
thing. There we go. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yes, I've heard that Always Sunny in Philadelphia is a good example of that same kind of format. I've heard it's basically if Seinfeld was taken to its utmost conclusion. Like Seinfeld's another good example. Everyone in Seinfeld is a bad person. All the main cast, Jerry, George, Elaine, Kramer, they're bad fucking people. There's a lot of speculation that Seinfeld's an outright drug dealer, for example. But in Always Sunny, what I've heard, I haven't seen it, but I've heard that Always Sunny is like if you took Seinfeld and just cranked it to 11. Like it's really, every character on it is really that much more reprehensible. And that's the point. That's the commentary that is being made. Like it's funny, but you're not supposed to really align with the characters. You're not supposed to relate to them, so to speak. A lot of it is cringe humor. Thank you for being a cool streamer and having real conversations. I need so much more of this all over the place. Oh, thank you, Psycho says. And yeah, over the top. Yeah. Fatsa Bull.
You are now one of us.
Make me do my alerts, for God's sake. We're going to have to listen to this 5 times now. Insano, Left, Yellow Pirate, Zari Queer, Tootie Boots. Please thank Fatsable for those subs you got.
Welcome back,
yeah,
supporter of the cause.
The difference is self-awareness, and you're supposed to find them funny because they clearly suck at being human. Correct. That's the way it's supposed to be, right? That's the notion behind that type of humor. Is that these are people who... what's the way you would phrase it? What's a good way to phrase it?
You are now one of us.
I guarantee you've met people. Noctane, how has stream been so far? Stream has been good. How was your stream? I didn't ask. Sorry, we've been on topic. How was your stream? Tell us all about it. What'd you get up to? In Seinfeld, the main gang...
You are now one of us.
Oh my goodness. Pam, A hype train is close. Oh my goodness, Sunny is amazing. Oh, I'll let the bot read it. Hang on. Give him a second. And Futzable. Goodness me. Come on. Read
Welcome
it.
back.
There we go.
Supporter of the cause. Sunny is amazing. They're all scumbags. Lol, it's great. I regret not having rated you before. I'll make sure to do that next time. Thank you for your membership. Please, enjoy all the delights of the subscriber lounge.
Okay, Botwick, you can stop now. A hype train is close. One more person needs to sub, gift, or use bits. Seinfeld did try and make the characters a little likable. Yeah, it did. They failed. They're all horror people. Yeah, but the idea was everyone was supposed to be horror people. And yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm, same kind of thing. As far as I know, I've forgotten what the other one's called. Where it's got... what's his name in it? What's his name? What's the guy's name? The dorky dude. The dorky guy. There we go. Cranch, you've just triggered a hype train, you fucking legend. I was waiting for someone to do it. Not Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, that is one of them. That is one of the things. Toot toot, it's a train ride. Choo choo.
Toot
hype
toot.
train. Hype train is basically if someone is giving me money through subscriptions and bits and gift subs, we get a hype train. We might as well put back on party mode. Hype train. Hype train. How do I do this? Do the thing. Do the thing, you fucking wanker. There we go. Scam train time. Pay me money.
Scam train time.
And get nothing out of it. Oh, you can get emotes, actually. Basically, it's a way of supporting the streamer. For giving you the best entertainment in the world. This is far better than Netflix. But Netflix has Castlevania, which fucking bangs. Holy shit, dude. Castlevania fucking bangs. Now I just want to play the game. I've never played Castlevania. I've never played Castlevania. 1,000 bits, Yarrow, Jesus fucking Christ. What the hell? Why would you do that? My god, Pam, you were streaming for 15 hours? Holy shit. I've done 14 hours before. And I was trying to do 24-hour stream. Do not do it.
Another round on you.
Thank you, everybody. I'm missing everyone. Aurora, thank you for the 100. Katie, thank you for the 50. Yarrow, thank you for the 100. Cranch for kicking us off with the 200. Oh my goodness. This is insane. Which there's a whole discussion we could have. There's a discussion we could have about the use of the word insane. A lot of people have issue with the use of terms like insane, mental, crazy, because they refer to those who are mentally
on you.
Disabled, generally speaking, and using them as a pejorative, but we won't get into that. Anyway, best show on Netflix is The Alienist. I'll have to give that a look. Don't have any more bits. That's alright. Katie, thank you so kindly for the 50. Can't remember the name of the female lead in Castlevania. She's very cool. What is her name? Fuck, I've forgotten. What's her name?
Thank you for your membership.
I am not from one of the rich parts of
Enjoy
Australia.
all the delights of the subscriber lounge.
Frasley, thank you for the sub. How you doing, lovely? Hype train level 2. I need to sort out something. I need to sort out Cypher. That's it, Cypher. Yes, correct. We're doing well. We're doing great. Why does it say level 4? Why does it say level 4? Wait, what? Are we on level 3 and it's going to level 4? What? When did we get past what? I thought we were just on level 1. What happened? What the fuck? Fox, there you go. No, I am... What's my accent? I don't know what my accent is. I don't really have one that I think of. I don't know. There we go. We're at level 4. We got party mode on. Here in the red room. Don't question the hype train. It just decided we're at level 4, I guess. It needs level 69. We can get to level 5 and get it to 69%. I know you can do that, but once you get to level 5, it stops. Generic Aussie, yeah. I'm a very generic Australian. I don't have a very overt accent. That's not to say I can't do one, of course. Got a lot of references for that. I've been around plenty of Aussies. But yeah, it's irrelevant what social class I'm from, yeah, at the end of the day. But I'm not rich, don't... No way in hell. I am not rich. I'm a broke bitch. Talk about Horizon Zero Dawn on Twitter. Do I see myself streaming it? I did do a full playthrough. I don't know if I platinumed it on stream or not. I think I did.
Another round.
But I would... oh my goodness, Yarrow. Thank you for the 75 bits. You don't want to talk about South Park or Family Guy. What is the next story? We've got some more. News here we can go to. We're currently at level 4. Can we get level 5? I wish it would tell us exactly how much we need to get to level 5. We meant to do the anti-trans bills thing. I want to do the anti-trans bills thing. So let's do that. I do not have the Cork hat. That has a name. Hang on. Oh my god, can I type? A cork slouch hat, apparently. There you go. It's supposed to keep flies away. So Aussie farmers, mate, they like to get themselves one of them broad-brimmed sun hats, and they string some corks on it to get the flies away, mate. Get the flies away, because there's a lot of fucking flies in the outback. I've been in the outback a few times. A lot of fucking flies, mate. Do not recommend it. I also don't use the, I also don't tend to use, what was I going to say? I've forgotten. I don't tend to use the word mate that often, actually. Usually use it as a joke. You dislike cheese. How can you dislike cheese? How can you dislike cheese?
Another round.
Okay, yeah. Oh my goodness. Merely dislike. That's fair. You can dislike it. I mean, until recently, I didn't like tomato. Thank you for the 1,000 bits. Yarrow, Jesus Christ, we are 55% of the way to a level 5 hype train. Can we get there? Can we get to level 5?
Another round.
And another 500. Oh my goodness. We're at 77%, folks. Can we do it? Can I say, I like a sharp cheddar, but there are many more subdued cheese flavors that I am not rather fond of. And I do not like, once you get to blue cheese level, I'm just like, no. But when you get to like the really dull, oh my god.
You are now one of us.
You gifted 1 sub to Katie and we're at 99%. Why is it doing that? Twitch, you can't tease me like this. I don't know if I've tried feta cheese. I think I've tried feta cheese. I'm not sure. My cat's just laying on me at the moment. He's just laying on me.
Another round.
Badger, thank you for the 100. We are now at a level 5 hype train. Level 5, you fucking legends, you. Level 5 hype train, thank you so kindly.
Welcome back.
And Futz gifting sub to Evo.
Cause.
There we go. Level 5 hype train. Level 4 complete. There's so many types of feta cheese. I didn't know there were more than one. Oh, hang on. Wait, no. That was level 4. Now are we on level 5 now? No, yeah, I think we are on level 5 now. And it's... I don't know. I think we're on level 5. Or we're going to level 5. I don't... What are you doing, cat? What are you doing? He's been sneezing. I need to take him to the vet because he's been sneezing. You're gonna lick me. Okay. All this talk of cheese feels like Monty Python. Cheese is good.
Appreciates your recommendation.
We appear to have guests. Miss Quinky, thank you for the host. Danish feta. Dual-wielding sword lesbian. We can open our office. We can now open our office. I haven't talked much news tonight. I talked some satire. Your claws are hurty. You need to be careful. You need to be careful because you are hurting me. That hurt. Okay. Anywho's. We could talk a little bit of news because we got like a break coming up. We got a break coming up. How about we talk really quickly about... You want to see Smudge? He's down here. He's down here in my lap doing this. I had to stop him scratching me. There him is. Hey, where are you going? Oh, off you go then. Fuck off. What do you want? What are you doing? What this? Oh, you just there you go. You just want to lay down normally. Okay. Can we get some subs for Smudge?
Another round.
South Park sucks.
South Park sucks gingerly.
Oh, sucks gingerly. I love the way the bot senses things. Had a black and white Smudge. It was 30 pounds. That sounds like a big cat. Smudge here is only like 2 or 3 kilograms. He's tiny. Maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. He's not very big. He's not very heavy. He is not heavy at all. You've cheered a total of... Why does it tell us that? That's so daunting, knowing that you've cheered 23,925 bits total. Yarrow, you fucking legend, you. How are you, Hollywood, by the way? Cat is so damn cute. There is a hype emote of him. I need to change my emotes. I'm so, like, I want to do it, but I'm so fucking busy, man. And when I'm not busy, I just want to relax for a minute. So I don't give myself the time to chill out and do the emotes. I really should. Yarrow!
You are now one of us.
We've hit 100%. Okay, so I guess that was level 4 going to level 5. Darknet Hitman, Cute Secret, Paper Crane, A War Nun, and Autumn Leaves. Now with the subs. What up, Shay? How's it going?
You are now one of us.
5 gifted subs. Thank you so kindly, Yarrow. Now we're in level 5 at 136%. Can we get to 169%? Yarrow is based. So hang on, Pam. Let me come back to what you were saying. What were you saying?
You are now
Actually,
one
am
of
I
us.
following you on here, Pam? Let me just see something. I don't know if I'm following you on here. I think I am. No, I'm not. What the fuck? I thought I was. Well, now I am. There you go. You quit your job for mental health.
You are now one of us.
You're doubling down on streaming and working on finding income streams because office life is not it. Yeah, I can understand that. Motherfucking rich bitch. Okay, so here we go.
Rogue Room appreciates your recommendation.
You can ask absolutely valid questions without being a jerk. Yes, I've noticed this. This is why I haven't been reading this person's comments. Without being a jerk, the whole remote control comment was actually unnecessary and served no purpose other than to make you look like an asshole when you're asking a very legitimate question. Yeah, you could have asked for an explanation on what pansexualism is without being rude about it. There's no need to be, there's no need to be aggressive to someone about their sexuality. None whatsoever. You were just doing it to be a prick, and I don't appreciate that. Comic Girl, how's it going? Hello, 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 hello. Here to subsidize the stream for people who can't afford it. I appreciate it. Well, hopefully, we'll keep going because we got another 10 minutes of we got another 10 minutes of pre-roll free stream. So what I'm going to do is we'll run for another 10 minutes. Cute Secret, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Rogue Room. And Orag, welcome to the Rogue Room. Hype Train complete. Thank you so kindly, folks. Thank you so kindly for another fantastic Hype Train. You're all fucking legends. But yeah, we'll go until this particular pre-roll break is done. And I'll run another 90-second ad break, and we'll do our usual 5-minute mid-stream break. I am pretty hot. I'm fucking gorgeous. Look at me. Look at me. I'm fucking banging, dude. I got awesome cheekbones. Can I just gas myself up for a second? I got awesome fucking cheekbones. Also, bought a new eyeshadow palette. Played around with it. Why is my camera so low? There's my eyeshadow. It's a bit glittery. Anywho's. I am gorgeous, thank you. And I'm also wearing my contour and highlighter tonight. I've noticed I look a lot better when I got my contour and highlighter on. I need to buy some more, and I also really need to clean my brushes. I'm bad at doing that. Don't judge me. Oh, excuse me. Let me see here. Why do I still have the disabling ad rolls? Disabling mid-rolls thing. Okay, so. I want to talk about this really quickly before we... I mean, we can come back around to this because this is not really going to be a story that's one and done. But this is something that's been affecting me personally. Genuinely has been affecting me on a emotional level because it's exhausting. And I want to share that exhaustion with you so I don't have to live it myself. Stupid fucking sub goal. Stay put, would you? I'm going to fiddle with that. Anyway. This is weird. The US is fucking collapsing, not just with the... Like, this is just a part of it. But there's also another story a little bit further down. The US has reported at least 45 mass shootings in the last month. There's a ton of anti-trans legislation. Like, what's going on in America, folks? America's not having a good run of things. Anyway... This record-breaking year for anti-transgender legislation would affect minors the most. 33 states have introduced more than 100 bills that aim to curb the rights of transgender people across the country, with advocacy groups calling 2021 a record-breaking year for such legislation. Many of these bills are rapidly making their way through state legislatures. On April 6th, Arkansas became the first state to outlaw providing gender-affirming treatment to minors. Excuse me. A move that the ACLU said would send a terrible and heartbreaking message to trans youth across the country. We did cover this. We covered the Arkansas thing, and we all kept our fingers crossed, and we all hoped against hope that it wouldn't get through. The Arkansas governor himself vetoed the bill, and the House, or whatever it was, the group of dickheads, went ahead with it anyway. So they vetoed his veto. According to data from the Human Rights Campaign, one of the nation's largest LGBTQ advocacy groups, at least 117 bills have been introduced in the current legislative session that target the transgender community. It's the highest number the organization has recorded since it began tracking anti-LGBTQ legislation more than 15 years ago. Now, of course, the main thing here would affect minors the most. The major issue with this particular situation is that we know that trans kids have it rough already just being a transgender teenager, being a transgender kid. We know that teens have a very, going through puberty and going through, dealing with a whole bunch of changing emotional states, going through that whole process of transformation, that youth transition, but not gender transition necessarily, that transition from childhood to adulthood, that period is very, very... the word I'm looking for is very like fragile, but not. It's unstable. That period in your life in your teen years is very unstable. There's a lot of pressure on you to learn to be, to go from being a kid to being an adult and figuring out who you are. If you couple being trans on top of that, and people are much more out and proud about being trans these days. The internet has given a lot of people the opportunity to see trans people being out and proud about who they are. Which means there are going to be kids in these states where the legislation is being passed who have got trans idols, for example. Or just, there was the case of the girl who was 10 years old, 12 years old, something like that, who testified before politicians trying to justify her own existence. She's a big fan of Dolly Parton. But overall, trans kids seeing all this legislation being passed, which would, send a terrible and heartbreaking message to transgender youth across the country. It's just saying to these kids, we don't want you here, we don't want you to be existing, you are a problem, you must be stamped out. And there is a common argument, there is a common thing used against trans people as an attack on a regular basis. You know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to say it. But this kind of legislative procedure, this kind of outright assault on trans people across the United States of America is going to lead to an increase in that very difficult situation. And I hate to say it. I don't want to say it. I've used the word enough times. At this point, I don't want to give these people more ammunition. Anyway. Anywho. We will come back around to this. We're not going on our break just yet. Give it a couple more minutes. But for example, there is an actual graph here that talks about the types of bans that are going on. Number of anti-transgender bills introduced in state legislatures each year. Bathroom/locker room bans and youth sports bans, 16 in 2015. In 2021, it's 58. Bans/restrictions on trans medical care. There were other bills. There's a bunch of other bills. 2020 there were 24, and there's 29 this year. Look at the number. Look at how high this has jumped up since last year alone. It's doubled. It's almost doubled. The majority of bills would affect trans youth, a group that researchers and medical professionals warn is already susceptible to high rates of you know what. Here's where these bills have been introduced, and the restrictions they seek to impose. Bans on participation in same-gender youth sports. 31 states have introduced bills that ban trans athletes from participating in sports consistent with their gender identities. 3 states, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee, have already signed these bills into law this year. A similar 2020 bill in Idaho was swiftly struck down in federal court. Keep in mind that I get the suspicion that this stuff really ramped up. Oh yeah, there's the video. Thank you, Yarrow. Go watch my video if you haven't already. It's 42 minutes long. Set aside your lunch break. Anyway, It's interesting that this stuff really ramped up the moment that Joe Biden came out and said that he's outright in support of transgender people and trans youth. And he's doubled down on this recently. He made another statement against the legislative attacks against transgender kids. He said that it's, unconstitutional. I don't think he said it's unconstitutional, but he said something. So him expressing his support, all of these bills are being pushed by Republicans. And yes, this is the death knell of a dying idea. It sucks and it's stupid, but this is the virus fighting hard against the medicine. I think you're absolutely right, Futz. But unfortunately, the death toll is going to be there. There are going to be kids at the other side of this who are not going to be with us anymore on the other end of it. I hate to say it, there's going to be trans adults that are not going to be with us at the end of this. Both in the US and the UK, and I worry about it coming here to Australia. Ender Lemon, welcome to the Rogue Room, and Piano Man Music. How you doing? Welcome in. It's unconscionable. It absolutely is. And will they be struck down at one point or another? Well, that's the thing. Some of these bills are going through. Some of these bills are actually passing, which is the problem. And maybe there is something that can be done. I think the ACLU is pursuing lawsuits against these bills. No. I know you're not downplaying the effect, but there is some optimism in the fact that this is a dying idea, and hopefully this means that these people are going to be out the window in a year, 2 years. I don't know. I just worry about the cost. I do. I worry about the cost. But yeah, that's the issue. Yeah, it would be hard. I completely understand. You might go to bed, Fox. That's all right. Have a good sleep. Thank you so kindly for hanging out tonight. I am going to take this as a moment to go and refill my water bottle, which has still got water in it, but I'm going to run an ad break. We're going to be right back. We'll come back. We'll continue on this story, and we've got some other news that we can talk about after the jump. Whatever that means, I don't know. That's what Layman Gaming says. Anyway, that doesn't make sense because that's their intro, and it's only one of the brothers on Layman Gaming now. What am I even talking about? I'll be back in a moment, folks. Don't go away. Here's an ad break. Enjoy yourselves. Talk kindly among yourselves and each other. BRB. I forgot that I attached a chat message to that. There you go. I forgot to turn the music up while I was AFK. Sorry, I'm back. How's it going, folks? Cat, you've got to decide what the fuck you're doing, mate. You got to decide what the fuck you're doing. You can't just be meandering around. You want to go lay in my laundry? There you go. There you are. Alright. Oh, okay. Liberals, if you notice, are just as complacent about trans issues and trans discrimination as they were during the fight for civil rights in the MLK era. I got nuts. Please don't tell anybody I'm playing with my nuts. Kitty cat. He's there. He's doing okay. Oh, how you folks been? How was the break? I don't even know how long I was gone for. Meow. Hello. CC sugar-free. And salted mixed nuts, which looks like mostly peanuts.
Daddy Biden is a progressive king.
Yarrow, thank you for the 100 bits. The 100 Kappa bits. I am crazy. I am legitimately deranged. Oh, now you can see my nuts. Ha 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 ha. Anywho. Shall we continue? Shall we reconvene? We're not doing the trans sports debacle because at the end of the day, that is one of the major reasons this is such a wedge issue. It's not about the sports. Let's clarify. I made this point in... Why have I don't need my stream deck. It's not about the sports. It's about taking away the agency of transgender people. That's what it is. That's the summary. It's not about the sports themselves. It's about taking away something from trans people, which makes it easy to take away more stuff from trans people. It's about working back their rights bit by bit. I don't normally eat on stream, but I want to have some nuts in my mouth. Yarrow, I'm not even going to address that. Anyway, the majority of bills would affect transgender youth, a group that researchers... Oh, we already did that bit. It's anti-black athletes 2.0. Yeah, exactly. I already discussed that in the video. No ASMR, okay. In many states, lawmakers introducing these bills are supported by conservative legal groups such as the Alliance Defending Freedom, which reportedly helped craft the Idaho law that was later struck down in court, according to the Idaho Press. The group released a statement praising the Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson. The Arkansas bill, named the Fairness in Women's Sports Act, it's about the fairness, would prevent trans girls and women from participating in school, intramural, or club sports with their same-gender peers. I think these exclusionary responses are a solution in search of a problem. That's a good way of putting it, actually. I like that phrase. A solution in search of a problem. What was I saying? Anyway, I got distracted by whatever's going on in chat. Yes, it's absolutely about a larger plot to remove all rights from trans people. You can tell just by looking at this. Said Melanie Willingham Jaggers, interim director of Gulsen, an LGBTQ advocacy organization. There is no categorical dominance by trans athletes. That's the thing that they love to use. They love to say that transgender athletes are dominating girl sports. It's just simply not happening. But we do understand the categorical benefits for young people who play sports. Lawmakers have said these bills are intended to be proactive. Who's seen Minority Report? And to remove what they claim is an unfair advantage that trans girls may have over their teammates. But such examples are extremely rare, which is an argument used by pro-detrans people. Anyway, which is another transphobic situation. We'll come back around to that. In March, the Associated Press called 24 state legislators who... blah, 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 blah. Hold on. Let me clear my throat. In March, the Associated Press called 24 state legislators who sponsored these bans and found that few could name any cases where the participation of trans athletes in youth sports had become a source of contention within the teams. A version of the ban made its way to South Dakota, Governor Kristi Noem's desk in March, but Noem seemed to surprise both the LGBTQ community and conservative groups by vetoing the bill, calling it overly broad, which is exactly the language that Asa Hutchinson used with regards to the Arkansas Trans Medical Healthcare Bill recently. He was saying it's overly broad and it's saying too much and it's taking away a lot of medical agency, and still the legislature went ahead with it despite all of that. She sent it back to the legislature with changes that, among other things, intended to spare the state from potential economic blowback, but the bill later died in the legislative chambers. However, days after her veto and amid intense criticism from conservative groups, Noem signed 2 executive orders on March 29 that would ban trans girls and women from competing in women's sports at public high schools and colleges. Thanks, Christy. But that move also prompted criticism from conservatives who claim the executive orders are unenforceable. Here we come to the gender-affirming healthcare thing again. This carrot is awesome. How you doing? See, someone is feeding the troll. I've forgotten who's a troll in chat at this point. Do you mean no real purpose? Advocates hope that potential economic... blah, 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 blah. Oh, here we go. Bathroom bill. Let's read this part, actually. Advocates hope that potential economic and political consequences could deter governors from enacting this year's wave of legislation. You're welcome. In 2016, North Carolina passed its so-called bathroom bill, which meant that people at a government-run facilities must use bathrooms and locker rooms that correspond to the sexes on their birth certificates. There's a good video by Ty Turner, I think it was. Was it Ty Turner? Not photos of Ty Turner in the bathroom. I mean, Ty Turner's pretty hot, but I'm still gay. I'm just saying. It's pretty tanky. I'd lift with him. Anyway. No, what are you doing?
Hey, what's up, you guys? It is Ty, and today I thought it would be a good idea to see how people feel about a trans man going into the women's bathroom.
So hang on, this is from around when this was going on in 2016, right?
So, instead of actually being a huge asshole and, you know, giving off some, like, sexual assault vibes by
this is
entering
Ty
the
Turner.
women's
Ty
bathroom,
Turner's a trans man YouTuber.
I thought I would just interview some women and see how they feel about the bathroom law. So let's go.
That's
Today,
a dude,
I just want to get
man.
people's feelings about everything that's going on in the news, the controversy regarding transgender bathroom laws.
Yeah, the Spider-Man shirt's sick, isn't it? Love it.
The bathrooms that they want to use. Have you heard about this yet? Do you have any, like, personal opinions or anything that you already feel about that?
I've had very mixed feelings about it because, for one, I feel very awkward about it at the same time, but yeah, I feel like it's very good for those people who feel like they need to use their gender bathroom, but it's still awkward for me personally, but I feel like they need to do what they need to do, so I support it.
That's awesome.
I think it's stupid.
So I think what happened was the bill went, he could get it. I think the bill was to stop trans people using the rest, like the thing that we just talked about a second ago, like you had to use the bathroom that matches the assigned sex on your birth certificate. And I think what happened was the bill did not pass, and he's asking questions with regards to that for further context.
What's stupid?
I think it's dumb that if somebody identifies as a male and they look like a male, like they have a beard and chest hair and everything,
Like this guy.
that they have to go in the women's restroom.
But like that's totally wrong. I feel like however you address yourself, female, male-wise, I feel like that's the restroom you should go into. It's been like that for a long time. I don't know why they just recently started publicizing it like that, but I think it's wrong in general. I mean, I feel like you just like targeting certain people, and that's wrong.
What's up, guys? So we only got a few interviews over at the mall. A lot of people said no, so now we're at Target doing the same thing. Let's see what happens.
Take you on a date and let him.
Well, have you heard about the controversy recently with the transgender bathroom
He honestly
laws?
looks like the kind of guy you'd have a good,
Do you have an opinion on that?
good board
my
game
house
session
is
with.
divided on it.
Oh, really?
So we have a lot of debates in our house about the very topic.
Can I hear your personal opinion?
I think I still waver back and forth between the two. One, I feel like we could have created a different solution rather than just mandate something without really looking at different options. I think a third bathroom, like they have in the mall for females. No one's ever said anything to me. You know, I know there have been transgender that use women's and men's, and they don't say anything.
gender
no
neutral
one says
bathrooms.
anything. I don't think it was a problem until we focused on it in such a way that it created strife between people.
Bingo. That is the reason that all of this anti-trans stuff is going on at the moment. It's like it wasn't a problem until a bunch of people made it a problem, and now the anti-trans discourse, or just the trans discourse in general, is now incredibly inflammatory. You know, you got a bunch of people with a bunch of different opinions espousing their bullshit and causing a discussion that didn't need to happen because, you know, there's the bathrooms thing, there's the healthcare thing, there's the sports thing, and people just making a mountain out of a molehill over this.
I think so, absolutely. A lot of
It's a very
people,
good
the
point.
issue that they have is they say this will lead way to, you know, men essentially going into women's restroom if they go on and attacking women.
But what about our boys?
I love the way you phrased that, Aurora. Hammer-wielding folks decided there was a nail. There wasn't at the time. There is now. That feels particularly relevant to Castlevania. Watch that fucking show.
I mean, we have young boys in the men's restrooms. If the problem is we're anti-men and children, then maybe that's the problem that needs to be addressed.
All right, guys, so we got kicked off of the premises. The guy from Target came out and told us not to film in there. So I guess that's all the...
Yeah, the what about our boys thing is like, yeah, if a man wants to harass a boy or a girl or a woman, doesn't matter if they happen to present female or not. They're still going. If an offender is going to offend, they are going to offend. Doesn't matter who they are. Doesn't matter how they present.
interviews I have
Criminal's
for you.
gonna criminal.
But I'm actually pretty surprised that we got some good results and some good feedback. Here's my camera guy, Sam. So thank you so much, Sam, for videoing. Thank you guys for
Sams
watching. I
in
hope you
chat,
guys
folks.
got a little insight. Just so you know, this is a small southern town that we are filming in. So, you know, I was not prepared for a lot of people to be super accepting, but really they were. There was nobody who was against it, nobody who had really anything negative to say. So that was pretty cool results. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Several articles and statistics prepared. Was prepared to defend trans people, but pleasantly surprised to find out I didn't end up having to. There you go. A wholesome end. Excuse me. Anywho's. Surprised that they were accepting. Says a lot about how he views people. Well, not really, when you constantly hear about transphobic viewpoints being espoused all the bloody time. You expect it, especially in rural towns, in smaller rural towns and things like that. It could be that he just got a few of the good ones, of course. But yeah, chat can be let out of horny jail now. But actually, that is a good point to make. This is a fringe wedge issue, and there is a poll, this is from PBS, that actually shows that Americans overwhelmingly oppose the anti-trans laws. This comes back around to what we were talking about a moment ago. Hello, Ren, how's it going? The rights of trans Americans has been a growing topic of debate on sports fields, in state capitals. God damn it, dude, I shouldn't eat nuts. What's wrong with me? And in Congress. The Human Rights Campaign, an LGBTQ or advocacy organization, says more than 30 state legislatures have proposed blah blah blah. We already know all this. But 2/3 of Americans are against laws that would limit transgender rights, new PBS NewsHour/NPR/Marist poll found. That opposition includes majorities of every political ideology, from liberal to conservative, and every age group. I need water. The alcohol is not clearing my throat. Hang on. Look, I'm a lesbian. I don't know how to swallow a nut. Anyway. These proposed bills have emerged as a new culture war, with Republican state legislators introducing and voting for them amid Democratic opposition, while a majority of Americans who identify as Republicans are against such laws. Yes, Red, what's going on? How you going? Decent nuts. While a majority of Americans who identify as Republicans are against the laws, according to the poll. The parties are speaking to their base people, said Lee Miringoff, the director of the Marist College Institute for Public Opinion, which conducts the poll. The Democratic coalition is more diverse, it's broader. The Republicans are speaking to a much narrower base, and they can put you against the overall public opinion within those jurisdictions. Just spat out your drink. What about girl nut? Well, I haven't been to that. I haven't. I'm not very sexually active at the moment. Anyway. People under the age of 40 are more than... Oh, hang on. We missed this bit. About one half of 1% of US adults are transgender, according to a recent Gallup survey. In the PBS NewsHour poll, more than half of Americans say they personally know someone who is transgender. That includes 53% of Democrats, 39% of Republicans, and 61% of independents. People under the age of 40 are more than twice as likely as older Americans to personally know someone who is trans. 63% of Gen Z and millennial voters said they do, while just 28% of people over 74 said the same. 5 years ago, less than a third of Americans said they knew someone who was trans, according to a Pew Research Center survey. It's really hard once you're informed or you know a trans person to support one of these bills because it really strikes at the humanity of a trans person, said Kate Sozin, who reports on LGBTQ+ issues at the 19th. Yeah, there's the thing, right? And yeah, Futz, you're right. It's kind of weird how much anti-trans focuses on MTF, because the issue there is the way that they're able to garner any support at all is if they go the route of saying things like, this is, I think I touched on this in the sports video. It's the idea of patriarchal violence against, biological women and girls. That's the main crux of it, of the anti-trans, especially focus on MTF discussion. People see it as men stealing away the place of women in society and fetishizing women, and for the sake of, autogynephilia or whatever, and then using their existing male privilege to, subvert bathrooms or some fucking bullshit. That's ultimately what it is. Yeah, protect the ladies from the evil, deviant men. And then these legislators go ahead and introduce bills that would require someone to inspect the genitals of teenage boys and girls to make sure they're not trans or something. Like, they're saying we're creepy people who are preying on women and girls, and they go and put that forward. Projection. Anyways, healthcare and trans use. So sick and talking tired of having to defend your right to live, get healthcare, use the bathroom. Just because you're non-binary. Again, we need to get rid of gendered bathrooms altogether. That's stupid. But yeah, it's absurd. The situation is absurd. You've known and met a couple trans people in person. They're just people like anyone else. And now that you know who you're fighting for, you want to fight that much harder against bigotry. Exactly. Like, once you see these people up close, this is the thing I was going to try to get at, is if you are from the outside looking in and you don't know a transgender person, it's easy to look at someone who is being targeted by these bills. If you are already informed by the bigotry that is being peddled. If you are particularly turfy or whatever and you don't know any actual trans people, again, I have severe doubts that Joanne Rowling actually knows a trans person, despite the assurance that she does. Anyway, if you already have an informed opinion on these things, it's easy to dismiss the humanity of these people in much the same way we would dismiss the humanity of a child molester or a rapist or a serial killer. You automatically, if you are that kind of person who already has those informed opinions regarding trans people, it's easy to dehumanize them and say these bills are good, they are going to shut down these vile people forever, illegalize their lifestyles and wipe them out. That's how this works, right? They dehumanize, and thus it's easier to put them in a box that says we can get rid of those now. That's the intent here. This article gives me a lot of hope, thankfully, looking at this kind of thing and saying, okay, 2/3 of Americans overwhelmingly oppose the anti-trans bills. It's good. It's hopeful. Yeah, if they wanted to actually prevent sexual assault, you'd think they would fight the actual causes, not these straw man arguments. Welcome back, Gingerbeard Man. No real purpose. Let me clarify. You don't think we should get rid of gender bathrooms altogether? What we need is individual stalls. There's no reason to have a whole bunch of stalls in one big bathroom. We don't need communal bathrooms. Do individual stalls that lock and all that sort of stuff. And then maybe a communal hand washing area or something. But you could very easily just do the whole individual. There's a toilet, there's a sink, there's a paper towel dispenser, whatever. They don't really need to have this situation where they've got a whole bunch of stalls lined up in a single room. It's really, and urinals are fucking weird. Yeah, I hate urinals. Just stalls, that's it. That's all it needs to be. Pisses someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene off. You want to do it until the fucking day you die. Make all bathrooms just bathroom across the United States, and most people wouldn't care, except for the fucking Candace Owens and Marjorie Taylor Greenes. Racist Karen in a Coors Light bottle. I love that description. No, that's the thing, Tommy. Even if she did it to be the I have a black friend argument, that is literally what she fucking did. I am not kidding. Joanne Rowling in her little Turf Wars essay literally did the I have a black friend thing, but for trans people. She did that. She did the argument of I have a transgender woman friend and I consulted blah, 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 blah. She literally did it. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, wait. She did the damn thing. She did. Yeah, you need to have stalls that go down to the floor. Yeah, I went to a public restroom recently, and there were stall doors that were like a little too high for my comfort. But anyway, if you want, go look up Turf Wars, and it's about 4,000 words long. That's not the one I want. That's the sociological review. I might read that though. I think this is the one. If you want to put yourself through this agony, you will eventually come to a point where she just starts to discuss her reasoning about why she's so turfy, and does bring up a transgender woman that she's supposedly friends with, but I think she just made her up. Yeah, what is with the trough of piss? Consulted one trans person and they said I could call myself an ally. Yes, jkrowling.com. Don't click on it. It's like clicking on Goatsy. She had a black friend, it'd be the quartering. How do I feel about the death of the artist? Can we still like Harry Potter knowing JK is toughy as fuck? Well, she's not dead. If she was dead, it'd be fine. I don't care that much. But she's still like actively benefiting from the presence of the Harry Potter franchise. So like involving yourself in that is still benefiting her, still financially supporting her. But the death of the author, like if she were dead, like I would feel free to read H.P. Lovecraft's work knowing he was a horrible racist, because he's dead. Nothing I'm going to... If I buy the Lovecraft compendium, it's not going to benefit him. He's a corpse. Anyway. People under... Oh, wait. We read this bit. And yeah, we read that bit too. Healthcare and trans youth. Again, we're coming back around to this one. Most far-reaching bills introduced this year would limit transgender youth from accessing gender-affirming medical care, which this started in the UK. You folks might recall the situation in the UK around the Bell Tavistock lawsuit. Keira Bell, Tavistock Gender Clinic. I forget the specific details, but she was put on hormone blockers and then eventually went through her whole transition, basically, including a double mastectomy, thinking she was a trans man, and then detransitioned. The percentage of trans people who detransition is the same percentage of trans people compared to the whole population. So you've got 0.5% of the world population that are trans, and then you've got 0.5% of trans people who detransition. And the United Kingdom used the case of one detransitioner to start a landslide, to start an avalanche of anti-trans legislature based on one person detransitioning. That's how dangerous this is. If they can find one case to support their argument, then they are going to use that to the to their utmost ability. I don't know. That's how this works. If they find, for example, the one case of that bitch who was the one that kicked off the trans athletes discussion recently, that girl who got beaten in running by the two African American transgender athletes at school, then they've got that one example. They can say, well, we're going to ban all trans athletes in schools because we have this one example of trans athletes winning. Death of the author is a concept from literary theory, meaning that author intent isn't an authoritative and conclusive source from which to derive the single true meaning of a text. There you go. It's like free speech in that regard. Yarrow, it's like free speech in that regard, where it's like, we have a definition of what free speech is, but if someone comes in here and says something I don't like, and I say, look, I don't want that kind of speech in my chat, they'll say that I'm against the concept of free speech, but that's not what free speech means. So yeah, I think we got a misconception around what death of the author is. It's like when people say gay panic to mean a gay person having anxiety. I'm going to call... Next time I have a panic attack, which one of those was today, I'm totally going to call it my trans panic. Just for the memes. We're allowed to make jokes like that about ourselves, though. Kira is just as guilty for egging them on as they are for exploiting her situation. Yes, exactly. Government used her to be as anti-trans as they could out loud, yeah. Let's apply their logic to other things they won't like. One cop was bad, let's ban all cops. Yeah, exactly. You can talk about a TikTok thing if you want. And I mean, I fully agree. One cop bad, let's ban all cops. Yes. Defund the police. ACAB. Trans panic. I had a trans panic today. Yeah, you can say whatever you want. The streamer can say no, fuck off, and ban you. Exactly. I do know what a thirst trap is. ACAB. Fuck 12. How did they get away with an ACAB emote? I thought that wasn't allowed. Free speech doesn't free you from the consequences that come with shitty things you say. Yeah, free speech literally only means the government cannot suppress your ability to say things about the government, pretty much. You know, you're allowed to criticize the government freely, and the government cannot punish you for that. That's what free speech is. In Texas, there was exactly one case of a mother forcing their child to be trans despite them saying they didn't want to be. One case. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, this is relevant to something I'm working on at the moment. Saw a thing recently called a bi-panic thirst trap. Interesting. Technically says call me ACAB. Ah, ha 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 ha. You can't read the call me bit. The only restrictions on freedom are the laws of physics. Everything else is just cause and effect. And of course we have to consider, do we have free will either? Thank you for the flex. Us! My shoulder's not hurting as much anymore. I hope that's a good thing. Maybe it's just the alcohol. Let me tell you though, I'm not driving on ibuprofen anymore though. Holy fuck. I took ibuprofen before I went and did my deliveries today, and I felt so delirious. Like, I was driving and I was focusing so intently on where I was driving. I wasn't like swerving all over the road, but I was just like, I do not feel like I'm in it at this moment. So I'm there delivering people's food, and as I'm driving, I'm like dissociated at the moment. Yeah, I hate people that think social media moderating their content is a violation of free speech while also defending businesses discriminating against people due to religious beliefs. That is such, like, the amount of hypocrisy, the amount of mental gymnastics you would need to do. I just like you. Just be careful if you eventually get the COVID vaccine. You have to avoid all ibuprofen. Okay. I haven't had ibuprofen for ages. I only got it because of this trapezius tear or whatever it is. It's not a tear. My friend has a muscle tear at the moment. Probably the same muscle actually, because it's her shoulder. Might be her trapezius. I don't know. But she's living in a sling and on painkillers at the moment. Anyways. Can we come back to this? Where were we? 21 state legislatures have considered such anti-trans healthcare bills this year, according to the Williams Institute at UCLA, which also estimates more than 45,000 youth could be affected, including nearly 1,500 kids in Arkansas, which will lose medical care after the state became the first in the country to enact such a law just last week. Fewer than 3 in 10 people support state laws that prohibit gender-affirming care for minors or that criminalize providers of that care. This is the main thing, I think. It's like, it's bad enough that kids are not going to be able to get their gender-affirming care, but to further state that if a doctor were to prescribe medication or any kind of treatment for a transgender youth, would then punish the physician, would punish the GP or whoever it is that would be dispensing that care by huge fines and jail time. It's like, it's really hugely overreaching. Not to mention, there's no need to legislate against this shit anyway. Among Republicans, 26% support bills that prohibit this medical care, while 70% are opposed. That's on par with where Democrats landed on the issue, with 26% in favor of such bills and 69% opposed. Nice. Do you support or oppose legislation that will prohibit gender transition-related medical care for minors? National Adults, 2866. Republicans, Independents, etc. There's a graph. Do you like graphs? There's a graph. Republican support for criminalizing providing gender transition-related care for minors was markedly higher at 38%, while only 19% of Democrats were in agreement. 42% of people who supported former President Trump in the 2020 election said they support criminalization. What? How does that make sense if there's like more of them support criminalizing the... Am I reading that correctly? More of them support criminalizing the healthcare treatment than... I'm confused. Yes, like literally criminalizing being trans, basically. That's what they want. They want to criminalize being trans. Solid 3393 Snake, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sad, have a good one. Thank you so kindly for hanging out. It comes down to the real issue with police. Who enforces the doctors being punished for doing their job? It's split by Trump as well, yeah, most likely. People aren't eager to victimize the individual, Miringoff said, comparing Republican support on these bills to similar shifts in opinion on abortion services. Tolerance for the individual and not wanting to discriminate against the individual is different than providers for some of the services. There we go, that explains it. Dr. Robert Garofalo, a pediatrician, Garofalo, there we go, Garofalo, like Janine Garofalo, a pediatrician who treats transgender youth at Lurie Children's Hospital in Chicago, said gender-affirming care, which can include puberty blockers and hormones like testosterone for transgender boys and estrogen for transgender girls, is considered the best practice by medical experts. Who would want anything less for their child than the ability to live their lives with an element of authenticity? That's what gender-affirming care is, Garofalo said. There's no evidence to suggest that these treatments are experimental. There's a common understanding within most mainstream medical organizations that access to gender-affirming care for these young people saves lives. So there we go. 42 and 60%, 42 and 26% of other numbers. When all this started happening, you thought it meant they were trying to literally take away all healthcare from trans people. Like, oh, you're dying. No, not that. This still isn't good, but no, they're not trying to literally, this is the thing, they're not trying to literally wipe us out by like, if we have cancer, you don't get chemo. What they're trying to do is just phase trans people out by not giving them the option to transition in the first place. So they're starting with the kids because the kids are easy. Like I mentioned in the sports video, doing it for the kids, think of the children kind of thing, is a very easy political swaying point. The moment you focus on the children, focusing on their innocence, focusing on them, you know, all of that kind of thing, it's very easy to sway opinions. When you make it about, think of the innocence of the children. They don't understand the world yet. Wish you could muster up the effort to make my place look as cozy as yours. Recently got some LED lights, but they're nowhere near the level of cozy you can see in my room. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, Tox. I want to add lights to these shelves. I haven't done it yet. Anyways, don't think anyone should be cracked down on, even if someone is saying hateful and racist shit like Tucker Carlson. Don't care if people are allowed to combat them with alternative speech. That's the thing. For all of the times the right wing likes to complain about how they're being silenced and censored and cancelled, if a large group of people online attack someone like Tucker Carlson or Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro, The reality of the situation is those people and those channels are routinely allowed to continue existing on YouTube, while there is evidence that leftist and especially independently geared political channels are being shut down because they are not monetizable. Excuse me. YouTube doesn't want those kind of voices on the platform because it can affect advertisement. I'm not kidding. Where were we? It's frustrating that so many people hold strong opinions when it appears that they haven't even been bothered to trying to understand the issue. That is the problem with propaganda. Don't get it. Their priorities seem wildly out of whack. Country is falling apart. People are jobless, homeless, broke, can't earn a living wage. The planet is slowly dying. The planet will be fine once we die off. The planet's still going to be here. We're just not going to be on it anymore. There are police killing people. There's like that's the main thing. So we want to self-preserve. We're not doing anything to preserve ourselves. The planet will be fine. You know, the planet will recover. We won't. There are civilians opening fire in public areas. Yeah, there's been like 45 shootings in the past month in the United States. There's an entire political party interested in their own power over helping their constituents, but the most important thing is making sure that a trans girl can't play softball. Yeah. A few people who voted on Shaw should be celebrated for not talking out of their asses. The Arkansas law allows discrimination for all non-emergency care based on personal belief. Really? The fuck? The biosphere will recover, yeah. Like, once we're dead, the planet will recover itself. Had mass extinctions long before humans appeared and life bounced back. And yeah, trans people are documented in history going back thousands of years. We don't have to tolerate hateful bigotry. In fact, if we do, the Overton window tends to shift further right, allowing for worse ideas to be voiced. For example, Trump, yeah. Yeah, the US is way better at propaganda than WW2 Germany. You're not wrong. Random topic about human history hit me. I could do with some more history knowledge. I'm not a historian. I hate that I'm wearing a really cute crop top and it's fucking freezing, so I gotta wear a cardigan. And I was literally going to wear my really cute cardigan dress tonight. I wanted to show that off, but as I was wearing it and just sitting here chilling before the stream, it got too hot. So I changed into cooler clothes, and then before stream started, it got too cold. I can't win in this shit, man. It's fucking killing me. Every time the right wing is silenced, it's literally the free market. Every time the left wing is silenced, someone has probably died. There are some animals who are trans. There are animals who are gay. The Beginning of Infinity by David Deutsch. Best philosophy/science book you've read in years. Covers environmentalism. There we go. I can't put it on. It's like a thing I have to pull over my head and do a whole thing. No. I'll wear it tomorrow if it's cold enough. Saw an archaeological thing recently. The skull of a human and not the current species Homo sapien, but our ancestor Homo erectus. There's an interesting facet of the skull. Oh no, we're getting into phrenology. Do animals play softball? That's the hard-hitting news I want to be aware of. We're not doing the trans athletes part of this. I've already done the trans athlete thing. Protection from discrimination. The efforts in Republican-controlled state legislatures to limit transgender rights are in sharp contrast with the Democrat-controlled Congress and White House, which are pushing to expand protections for LGBTQ people. On his first day in Oval Office, President Biden signed an executive order to combat discrimination on the basis of gender identity and sexual orientation. Last month, 3 Republicans joined House Democrats to pass the Equality Act, which would extend those protections in employment and housing discrimination under the 1964 Civil Rights Act. The Senate has not voted on the measure. 63% of Americans in this latest poll support the Equality Act, but that support is sharply divided along party lines. While 90% of Democrats support the bill, just 32% of Republicans say the same. Support also drops significantly among older populations. Nearly 8 in 10 adults under the age of 40 support the Equality Act. Less than half of Americans aged 75 and older agree. Trans the world! Hecox said she hopes public opinion will continue to shift in favor of trans rights as more people hear stories like hers. In the meantime, she said she'll continue to fight anti-LGBTQ laws in the courts. Things will get better, and this legislation is just a momentary setback for trans acceptance, Hecox said. I just don't want to fade from the world and not have any impact on it. Exactly. There we go. That's good shit, man. We want to see more pro-trans stuff. We want to see trans being protected. Dentures 10,000 BC? Oh, 100,000 BC? So whenever someone tries to say you need religion to be kind and caring, literal evidence that existed before organized religion. Oh, yeah. Compassion and empathy existed before modern humans. You can observe it in wild animals. Skull was missing its teeth, but it was clear it survived past losing the teeth. Oh, I see. Interesting. Puts a condom on. Okie dokie. There we go. There's the thing. Who wants to listen to Vice News? There's a thing that kind of relates, actually, to the religion thing. Do we want to... Hello, Katrina. How you doing? Has anyone woke your cunt? I remember that from when we were doing the James Smith thing. I was doing the video edit for that one today, which is up on the YouTube channel if you haven't already seen it. I uploaded the James Smith video if you just want to watch it. Anyways. Religion is kind and caring in the same way cults are. Cults are literally... This is spam. I've got spam comments. Cults are literally just small religions. That's what they are. They're the same concept. You know. Can listen to Virtue News. What's Virtue News? Are you taking the piss? Anyways. Let me have a look here really quickly. What's the line from The Office where Creed talks about being in cults both as a leader and a follower? You're taking the piss. I thought so. Alright. Here's the thing. From Vice News, this is apparently from April 6th. Why so many QAnon believers are evangelical Christians? I'm not just an... We don't want to get into my beliefs necessarily. I am atheist. But I'm also anti-theist. Let's just put that out there. Staunchly. Let's have a look at this. Let's turn this up a bit.
Evangelical Christians are a huge chunk of the American population. 34%. Well over 100 million people describe themselves as evangelical or born again. And recent studies have shown they're way more prone to believe conspiracy theories than most non-evangelicals. As of January, 27% of white evangelicals said they believe QAnon was completely or mostly accurate, and 49% thought Antifa was responsible for the Capitol violence. It's a striking trend, and
49% thought Antifa was responsible for the Capitol violence. What? That is the most absurd conspiracy theory out of the whole bunch. Oh my god.
And one that experts say may be baked into the religion.
You're primed by this fact. Evangelicals are always looking for evidence of the end of the world.
And the early New Testament Christians continually talked about and looked forward to that day, or the day, or the last days.
Evangelicals want the end of the world.
I think the FBI actually did legitimately confirm that Antifa had nothing to do with the Capitol attacks. The reason, honestly, the reason that I follow US politics so closely, and this sort of started with the Trump era, is that it's essentially become reality TV for me. But also, what America does, here's the thing, is whatever America does, Australia tends to follow. Like, Australia tends to mimic what the US does and what the UK does, to an extent. And it's already begun. I'm already worried. Like, with going back to the trans legislation thing, there was a bill passed recently in the House here in Australia with overwhelming support to stop the usage of any kind of gender-confusing language within the House itself. So, essentially, if there is, say, a trans person in the Senate or whatever, they would be required to refer to a trans woman as he and him, and possibly even by a dead name, if I'm not mistaken. And they would ban the use of words like chest feeding. Like, they used extreme, weird examples as well. But yeah, America is reality TV is quite frankly, Draco, the way that I've looked at things for the longest time. It's disturbing, but it's also captivating to know what's going on in America. I just can't help myself. And yes, the reality of the situation is that I fear whatever America does, Australia will follow. Same with the UK. So I like to be kept abreast of these things. It's kind of funny that we in Australia are ahead of the rest of the world in terms of our time zone, but behind it and just catching up most of the time. And usually not in a good way. Stupid for following it, they have a niche that needs filling or have been raised within that environment. I'm trying to figure out when being against fascism was a bad thing. I know, right?
To happen. They're not afraid of it. They embrace it. And when you're embracing it, you're always looking for evidence that it's going to happen, because that keeps your flock in line and keeps them energized and encouraged to keep worshiping, because like, the end's getting closer now. The end's getting closer now. Don't give up.
And when things don't work out as foretold, it's easy enough to explain.
No matter what happens, they're going to keep moving that timeline out. For them, it's going to eventually end.
Purpose, you have a very good point there. Like, yeah, there's no point being ashamed of being an American. You didn't choose to be born there.
And Armageddon in the end of time. But
if you are an ex-Nazi, you have every right to be ashamed of being a Nazi previously. For example. But you can't be ashamed of your birth. In the same sense, you also can't be proud of your birth either. It's really weird to me to see people being so overtly proud of the fact that they live in America. You know?
It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Sound familiar?
You can't say what all the moves are to the people that are involved.
This doomsday playbook is now integrated into American politics and pop culture.
And even if you're not evangelical, there's been so many movies about the end of the world.
Yeah, it's sort of seeped out of the evangelical, foundation and into all parts of American society. And that really picked up about 150 years ago. There was a guy named John Darby who had this idea called dispensationalism, which is the idea that there's going to be a rapture. The Left Behind series that was really popular. Kirk Cameron was in the movie. That comes from Darby's idea. And that really became mainstream.
Really popular? Did he say something involving Kirk Cameron was really popular? I'm going to have to contest that.
Evangelical in the last 30 or 40 years with the writing of that book.
Thanks to you, millions have heard the truth. Thanks to God.
Yeah, I refuse to believe that was ever popular. This is the first time ever even hearing about it.
Isn't that new when you think about the American context? Can you give me that sort of like 400-year zoom out about where we're at with this?
So even going back to the colonial period, for instance, when Thomas Jefferson was running against John Adams actually said that he was the Antichrist. And there were little old ladies in New England who buried their Bibles while he was president because they were terrified that he was really the Antichrist and going to take their Bibles away. And it's like every 50 years or so, someone finds...
I suppose that really leans into the idea of, like, my upbringing was largely atheist. And, who was it that Aurora gave us a good definition here? Atheist is no belief in theism. Agnostic is no certainty. So an agnostic atheist is someone who has no belief but is not sure. Agnostic atheist is someone who is certain. No God exists. Anti-theist is arguing against the existence of gods rather than just believing. Yeah, exactly. Rooster, thank you for the raid. How you doing, friend? How's it going? But yeah, I'm anti-theist in the sense that I think theistic religion has been nothing but a detriment on the world and continues to be nothing but a detriment on the world. And the amount of trauma that I have heard, like as you mentioned, Left Behind was a huge party of religious trauma, the amount of evil that religious institutions cause in the name of good is one of the many reasons I am strictly against it, the institution of it.
New way to sort of reinvent it, dig it up, revitalize it, and give it to a new audience in a new way, right? So we had the Great Awakening where pastors were preaching to thousands of people in fields all across America, talking about the end of time and sinners in the hands of an angry God and all these things. But then it evolves from there, right?
Is coronavirus a sign of the end times?
And if you really think...
I mean, honestly, it feels like coronavirus literally is a sign of the end times, quite frankly.
About it, the internet is just an extension of guys like George Whitefield in the fields back in the Great Awakening, right? It goes from him to radio, to television, now to TikTok.
Jesus is coming back. He will be coming in the clouds.
The problem
Oh
with
god, that is disturbing. Like, just
That.
like this, that's the face of someone who is just, I don't know. Cringe is one way to phrase it. Disturbed. I'm honestly disturbed. Unhinged. I look at that face and I think this is a person who is just, if we could link our brains and I could see what she's thinking, it'd be like I was walking on an alien planet. That's where we're at with this. Like, it's just so, you can tell just by looking at her. We would have such a different view, such a different perception of the world itself.
He will be coming in the clouds.
the problem with today's messaging? It's not just about the coming end times. Often, evangelical influencers and politicians are spreading partisan messages cloaked in religious rhetoric.
As a clown! He's coming back as a clown!
Smash the delusion, Father, of Joe Biden as our president.
Oh my god, I forgot Michelle Bachmann existed. Hang on a second, I gotta find something really quickly. On the subject of Michelle Bachmann. Do you remember the eyes? Do you remember the eyes? Do you remember the fucking eyes? It is said that if you can see the whites above someone's eyes when they're smiling, they're psychopathic. I don't know where I got that from, but they're grinning at you and they're like, anyway. Didn't need to sleep tonight.
He is not.
Right after the attack on the Capitol,
This is about why
41% of
QAnon
white
believers are
evangelicals said they
evangelical
either somewhat or completely agreed with the statement, if elected leaders will not protect America, the people must do it themselves, even if it requires taking violent actions.
Pastors are cowards.
This is what worries me. And I've been thinking about this all day today. I've been thinking about the concept of violence. I've been thinking about how many people normalize violence. And how many people justify violence. How many people will just look at things like their holy texts or things like their ideological beliefs and use it as a justification for violent actions. And this is why I'm so terrified of, well, a lot of things, really. I live in fear. It's great. What if someone sees me as an affront to their religion? What if somebody sees the legislation being passed around as a justification for hate crimes? And I or someone like me is attacked and killed in the name of a god or in the name of their political beliefs to justify something. It's scary. Yeah, it's incredibly sad that otherwise functional adults get sucked into this. Yeah, Hinduism and Buddhism are chill, yeah.
Because they have to be, because I can lose my job for any reason at any time without any legal recourse. They could fire me because with a shirt I wore on Sunday. So what pastors do is they try to be as bland and vanilla and non-controversial as possible. And the reality is that opens up this space for other voices to get in and influence their congregation. So instead you hear Hannity and Carlson and everybody else, right? You don't get that Christian perspective because Christian pastors just don't talk about it.
The flock is leading the shepherd.
Yeah, and I have many friends who say, like, listen, Fox gets them for 14 hours a day. I get them for an hour a week. So what can I do in an hour a week to match the 14 hours a day? And I think for most pastors, the answer is just give up. So now religion is viewed through a political lens, not the other way around. Politics has become religion now for lots and lots of people. I have a lot of evangelical friends who say Democrats are not just wrong, they're evil.
I don't hate anyone. I was raised in a way that is a heart full of love and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time. So don't mess with me when it comes to words like that.
Like to vote for Democrat as a sinful act. That's never been that way in American history before. And unfortunately, pastors don't speak into that. They don't try to redeem that language. They don't try to make people see both sides. In 1978, 50% of white weekly churchgoers were Democrats. 50%. Today, it's 25%, right? The church was better when it had Democrats and Republicans sitting side by side. And now it's just all one thing. It's all one flavor all the time. And I think the church is worse for it.
There's that. Oh, whoops. I think I clicked on something. I didn't mean to. Go away. Anyway. Everyone is worse for it, man. Not that ballin' pastor who had the private jet in the Jordans. So, like, any televangelist, then. You have a list of Hindus and Buddhist terrorists and those attempting genocide due to their religious beliefs. Well, that's not good, is it? And quite frankly, religion, we've already talked about this concept before, but the inherent idea behind religion, the thing is religion predates fascism, but religion is fascist when you think about it. Fascism being a concept of control and keeping the people subjugated and keeping the people loyal. What's religion? And then using that power that you have to destroy your enemies, of course. And subjugate them and bring them into your regime. It's the exact same thing religion does. Problem is that every single chance to curb the far right in your lifetime, nothing has happened. Yeah. Anyway, the only religion you're afraid of is Islam. Honestly, Abrahamic religions are all the same. Islam, Christianity, Judaism, they all stem from the same... They're all cut from the same cloth at the end of the day. Those three, the Abrahamic ones. And then all of the different... What are they called? The different branches of the tree. Whatever it is. Neon-Evangelion is a religion. Schisms? That's the... Sects might be the better phrase for it. There is a word for it. I can't think of what it is. But basically a sub-denomination. That's the one. Thank you. You're at work and waiting to get something out of the vending machine, and the person in front of you was trying to use her card, but the machine kept declining it. So you offered to try mine, and it worked. And immediately asked what she wanted, and you paid for it. You didn't even think about it as a yay, Jesus, brownie point thing. Yeah, it's like compassion and empathy is just a thing that we have. It has nothing to do with being a good person. And if you are a religious person who finds yourself doing good in the name of Jesus, if you find yourself doing good just for the reward, you are not a good person. Hate to break it to you. You're a selfish person. Evangelicalism and mainstream Catholicism are like particularly weird strands of religion. Jesus, he knows me and he knows I'm right, yeah. That actually harkens back to, I think, what the Trump administration was doing. Sending out letters or emails or whatever, probably letters, to their elderly constituents that gave those constituents the idea that Donald Trump really cared about them intimately and thus needed their money to continue his crusade against the evil Democrats, the evil demon craps, you know. So they were sending out these letters to particularly their elderly constituents, which, you know, these people who are more often than not religious and more often than not easily persuaded by, you know, there's a reason that certain people are so susceptible to scams. Nigerian prince kind of stuff. Yeah, the guy worth $9 billion needs your money. Anyway, you disagree that they are normal functioning. It's drilled into their heads at a young age. You didn't have a religion when you were a kid, but when you turned 18, you chose to become Catholic. Sufism, Kabbalah, and Franciscan mysticism don't have a left in the US anymore. The Dems are mostly just center-right. That's true. They have Snyder's, AOC, and Ilhan Omar. Within the religions of Abraham, there is some chill shit. To be honest, praying just seems like positive reinforcement, and then the thing happens because you believe it will. Reaffirming could take out the religious part. I think I get that. Theism is bad juju. You're here now, and the people around you need your empathy. You shouldn't be doing... Yeah, exactly. This is what I was trying to say. It's like, you shouldn't be doing it for some higher power. You should just be doing it. Like, the world is in a dark place. The world is in a painful place. And now more than ever, we need humanity. We need people coming together, not dividing themselves. And it feels like honestly, I was super into the atheism thing a few years ago. I've mentioned this a few times. I'm still anti-theist. I'm still, you know, I need Christopher Hitchens' entire slew of books just for that reason. But the reality of the situation was, like, back in 2012 and things like that, I was really, really super anti-theist. Nowadays, less so. Nowadays, I tend to focus more on politics than religion itself. But religion and politics are intertwined at the end of the day. And my mantra has always been, you should be doing good while you're on this earth in order to just do good on this earth. We have no verifiable way to look at some potential higher power and state that it's there and say, yep, that is certainly a thing that exists. We can see heaven, we can perceive hell, We know that we're going to be punished for eternity if we sin, and we know that we're going to be rewarded with utopia if we are good people. We have no way to verify that. And as much as I hate Ricky Gervais, he has a good point about the whole, if you are a Catholic and I'm an atheist, you believe, and I don't believe in 3,000 gods, and you only believe in one less god than I do, or something. You get the point I'm trying to make there. It's like, if there's 3,000 gods, and I don't believe in 3,000 gods, and you don't believe in 2,999 gods, what's the difference? You don't know what comes after this. All we can do is experience and perceive this. And I wear amethysts not because of any kind of spiritual connection, but because they're purple and they're cute. That's it. I don't attach any kind of symbolism to it that can't be verified by science, usually. In Hindu theology, literally not only is there one god, there is only one sentient being in all existence. That's just getting too abrupt for my head, honestly. Abrupt? That's not the word I want. 99% of Christian Jews and Muslims are absolutely fine and non-violent. Here's the thing. I mean, you're probably right, but we need to consider that some people, again, like I mentioned before, some people are non-violent solely because in some sects of these different religions, not sects, some of them preach violence, some of them preach non-violence to get into heaven, one or the other. Or only preach violence if it is specifically relating to preserving whatever crusade they're on this week. I've forgotten to run ads. Sorry, folks, I forgot to run. We're nearly at the end of the stream, so if you get any ads, soz. I think you can still get ads pushed on you, which sucks. What was I saying? Let me have a look. Probably the ones who will kill you for saying certain things or drawing a man tend to follow one religion. This is the thing, though, is like, there are people among Christianity, the Western one, the Western religion, that will absolutely kill you for drawing Jesus with dicks for hands, dicks for fingers, Jesus penis hands. There are absolutely Christians who will do exactly the same things that Muslim extremists will do, that Islamic extremists will do. There are Christian extremists who will do exactly the same things. But the difference is, Islamic extremists have been routinely demonized for fuck knows how long, because they are the other religion from over in the Middle East, by and large, right? It's a form of propaganda to make you fear the people from over in they're brown. That's basically it. It comes down to racism at the end of it. You know, the reason that you look at someone who is Islamic as, you know, potentially extremely violent and shouting Allahu Akbar is because that's the vision that they've been, that's the perception you've been given thanks to Western propaganda. And Jesus was brown too. Religion is okay. Religion is okay. Religion is like a penis. It's okay to have one. It's even okay to be proud of it. It's not okay to show it to people who didn't ask to see it, and it's never okay to write laws with it. Yeah, Christians and others also did the same shit in the past, and I guarantee you, there are most certainly some mass shooters in the US. Like, there's been mass shooters who have outright written about about the fact that God influenced them. Was the Christchurch shooter one of them? I can't remember. Dark Sentence, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing, mate? God is surprisingly absent for one who wants a personal relationship with us, I know. If the religious people are right and good people go to a good afterlife, and that's great for those religious people, we're alive now and we should be nice and helpful for the sake of it, not for some ulterior motive. Exactly. Bingo. Yeah, and if you want to single out Muslims, don't forget Christians did exactly the same thing. The fucking Crusades! Do we need to bring up the fucking Crusades? If Jesus was a trans man or a trans woman, have you seen the picture of like Jesus showing a scar to some like apostle or whoever it was? And there's a meme that's like Jesus showing off his top surgery. Showing off his top surgery scars. Don't think the Christchurch shooter was. There's definitely been shooters who've had a religious manifesto based entirely in Catholicism or Christianity or what have you. We'll just use Christianity. I'm sure there's been Catholic shooters, but that's just a Western example. Like the idea of the mass shooter. I have most certainly heard of mass shooters influenced by religion, definitely, but I can't think of any immediate examples. I don't think Columbine was one. Columbine was based on Doom. They liked Doom. And they said it's going to be just like Doom. Yeah, Anders Behring Breivik might have been one. Pretty much the majority of what we assume is evil Islam was created with the Ayatollah Khomeini and Iran in 1979. Really, the joke is most of Hollywood portray Islamic fundamentalists of primarily the PLO, but the PLO was a political party. Oh, I see. Listener Richard Raw. I'll have to give that a look. Well, as much as you want to go to heaven, you're not going to spend every waking moment focusing on it. It's not driving your decisions. Exactly. But unlike you, there are many people who are using that as the reason for every good thing they do. So they are misguided in that regard. The one thing you'll say is that altruism is ultimately selfish. It feels... Yes, true, Pam. Absolutely right. Like, it does feel good to help people. It does feel good to help people. So if we give someone something good, we get something good from it, which is the endorphins. I forget what it's called. I'm drunk. I'm very much a lightweight. If you read the Bible, you would think Jesus would gravitate to the LGBT community. He was all about outreach. Yeah, exactly. He hung out with lepers and hookers. Jesus was pro-sex work. A lot of religious people take their faith too far. They do. And I've been around many religious folks who push their religion hardcore, which probably leans into why I am so anti-religion. Dopamine? Probably dopamine. Certainly not estrogen. If I could get extra estrogen just from being a nice person, can you imagine how big my tits would be? There's the pain again. I lean too far back. Let's try this hand. It's the neck. Yeah, I think it is whiskey. It's whiskey and dry ginger ale. Yeah, I like the Gandhi quote. As far as I've heard, Gandhi is something of a problematic character. Yeah, CC, whiskey, and other shit. It's CC and dry. Yeah, it's not straight whiskey. No, I'm not drinking straight. I'm not drinking 375 mils of straight whiskey. Big tits wouldn't work on my frame. I got little tits. Why am I talking about tits? I shouldn't be talking about tits. Altruism also makes sense from a utilitarian point of view, since living in a society that isn't shit tends to benefit everyone. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I like your Christ. I do not like your Christians. Your Christians are nothing like your Christ. Yes. Tits are awesome. Yes, indeed. I'm drinking gay whiskey. I got one more of these. Hong and triple G's. Genuinely though, like, just unironically, the estrogen is doing something. I'm not showing you. You're not allowed to look. But these ain't pecs no more, sweetheart. Had a harem of underage girls that he forced to literally sleep with him. Yeah, true. I think I read about that. Carbonated vodka. You could do carbonated vodka. I mean, you could probably do watered down carbonated vodka. You could put a shot of vodka in with just soda water. You could do that. I would do that, honestly. I'm going to get some vodka and soda water, dude. I need to get a shot glass. Soda Stream. And yeah, he was also really racist. There's a Robin Williams bit where someone asked Gandhi what he thought of Western civilization, and he said, I think it's a wonderful idea. He was obsessed with diet. Oh, there's a whole... We could go into diet, trust me. We could go into diet, fitness. I've been really meaning to do a whole deep dive on diet and fitness for a stream or a video. I could do a video on fitness. Should I do a video on fitness? I've got this month's video mostly planned out. I just need to finish the script and then perform it, which requires me having some extra tools available to me, which I don't have just yet. Happy that the HRT is working. You're proud of my development. It's not weird at all, Draco. Thank you. It means a lot. I feel like I'm so much more in tune with myself nowadays. Even though I think about it all the fucking time. Like, in the same way, if you type !YouTube or just YT, that will send you to my main YouTube channel and my off YouTube channel, where I should be uploading my VODs, but I'm being really lazy. I'll get back to uploading my VODs shortly on the offline channel, and the main channel is mostly stream highlights and then my video essays. Which I need to work on my video essays. I'm hoping the next one will be really good. I liked doing sports. Sports was mostly me venting though. So was love. Cancelled was much more opinion driven. And Outrage Merchants was before I had a solid grasp on what I was doing, mostly opinion stuff. Future video essays will be a lot more informed. That's the goal for this year, is to put out a bunch of solidly informed video essays. Where were we? Hello, Possum Queen. How you doing? Have no issues with faith. You want to believe in God? God's fine. Just don't fucking organize it into some megalithic behemoth that scrolled off the screen. Intent on morally judging other people? Yeah. Need to learn about fitness yourself. Well, it's not so much about fitness as it is my criticism of the fitness industry and the diet industry. Sports was enlightening. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. A major difference, as pointed out by Christopher Hitchens, why gentle Jesus is far more monstrous than Yahweh, is because if you were a follower of Baal or Egypt's firstborn, then that was it. You were deleted. But with Jesus comes the concept of hell and eternal damnation. Oh yeah, I remember reading about this. You know, an older concept of religion was that if you were a bad person, there was no hell. You simply ceased to exist when you died. But if you were a good person, there was a utopian heaven to go to. We did watch a video on that very topic, I think, which is pretty sick, and why Orwell's 1984 is intact state religion beyond politics. Waiting for a product that has gin or other types of liquor in the US, but they just do spiked seltzer, which is generally vodka plus thing. I like how Botwick, no matter if you're good, bad, or any point in between, if you type !sports, Botwick's still just like, shut the fuck up, no one gives a fuck. Hell didn't come until much later in the church post-Jesus. There you go. I don't think Jesus talked about hell specifically, but I think I may be wrong here. But is hell a New Testament concept? The concept of a hell, the concept of an afterlife exists pre-Abrahamic religion. It existed pre-Abrahamic religion, but much like with most of our common holidays, stolen from paganistic ideas. And paganism, as far as I can tell, I can't recall, is paganism actually its own religion, or is paganism simply what the church deems religiously unnecessary? I can't recall. Because there is certainly, like, for example, there are different elements of Wicca, you know, and things like that, which were, yeah, pagan is used to mean anything that's not Christianity. I think that's right. Talking about them, the other. But there are a lot of people who self-identify as pagans who are largely witches. Like Romany gypsies and things like that also identified as pagans. Or were identified as pagans. And, if I recall correctly, it was also used in some earlier times in history to refer to people who practice science because, of course, witch hunts and things like that. Something you like to talk about is the connection between religion and the domestication of animals and the subsequent spread of cultural practices around these domesticated animals, first with cattle, sheep, and goats, and then later with the domestication of horses. That's interesting. I hadn't heard of that. Hell was invented in 1293 by Theodore Hellman to sell more sins. Did you folks know that that gender was invented by Thomas Gender in 1852 to sell more bathrooms? First instances of the modern concept of hell was from St. Augustine in the 300s. There we go. But it morphed greatly around the 1600s, especially with Dante's trilogy. Well, it would, yes. Matthew 45:26. Then they will go to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life. There you go. Oh my goodness. This has been heavy. This is not where I was planning on going tonight. Whew. Okay, we got so many stories that we didn't cover. Not that one. I didn't want to do that. I'm just doing stuff. Tonight's discussion has been fun. There is one more thing I wouldn't mind touching on. Random thought on the subject of animals. Go away. NIV is sus. What's oh. I don't know what NIV is. TikTok is too cringe for you to get through. TikTok is cringe. I don't do cringe. I don't do TikTok, sorry. I do a lot of cringe. Can I give you a biblical type quote? Oh, New International Version. I don't know. I got no biblical stuff. My brain is a fuck. Yeah, the Greeks had an underworld and Hindus had the lesser place, but both these faiths had limitations of the concept of total death Eternal punishment was really a concept based on a fable about arrogance known as the story of King Sisyphus. There we go. They'll be like, oh yes, let me build a big ass boat so you can drown some people. Oh yeah, I know KJV is King James. New international version. The New Testament! How long has the New Testament been around now? The Epic of Gilgamesh. Abby42069 says, go fucking shit your pants, cunt. There you go. Oh my goodness. There's a bunch of news here, but nothing really strikes me. Should we call it for the night? Kind of just vibing at the moment. Been vibing. We've been vibing. Making a custard-based homemade ice cream. Ooh, I like the sound of that. Finally going to bed. You learn the hard way that if you do a marathon stream, you need to start earlier. Yeah, that's certainly true. I tried to do a marathon stream. I told you before I did like the 14 hours thing, but I did it after a work day and a workout, and then I did 14 hours, and I was like, fucked. Absolutely McFucked. How's it? Let me just see who's live at the moment. Let me just go have a gander through my follows list because we're going to raid somebody. Bin Vibes. I saw a bin chicken yesterday. That was cool. I saw a bin chicken. You know what a bin chicken is? It's a fucking... It's an ibis. We're going to go raid. No comment check. I am going to go for the night. Here's my socials. If you've not already followed, subscribed, and done all these fucking things, do those. I'll be live tomorrow at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, which is 21 hours from now. Or if you want to get really pedantic, it's 20 hours and like 49 minutes from now, technically speaking, because we go with the 10-minute intro or whatever, the 10-minute starting soon screen. I'll be on Twitter. I'm also getting my face lasered as fuck tomorrow, so... If I'm not wearing makeup, don't hate. I might also turn my camera resolution down to like 320 so you can't see how red and inflamed my face is. Not that one. We're going to sit in the billboard up here. I do have a Discord. As you should expect, if a streamer is a streamer, they have a Discord. Generally speaking. I have lovely skin. Thank you, Marcel. Oh, I don't know how many laser treatments I've had so far, but we're getting close to, like, the end of this particular cycle, I think. Anyway, I love your faces. Get in the Discord. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube. And I'll see ya when I'm looking at you. I love your faces. Mwah, mwah.